You are listening to the Lucha Central Podcast Network. And now, LuchaCentral.com presents Masks, Mats, and Mayhem.
That's what's on top of the Christmas tree.
Hell yeah.
A fucking scary black cat.
Oh,
Why's it gotta be black? Welcome to another edition of Masks, Mats, and Mayhem. I am your host, the Outlaw LA Red. You can find me on social media at JustinHarvey75. You can find the entire show on social media at MMMShow75, which apparently a whole lot of people have done this week, thanks to at Byron Fever, because the ticks are up on the IG and a little bit on the Twitter, the Twit machine too. Though we don't have a ton of followers on the old Facebook there, even though we do somehow do good numbers there whenever we do actually do stuff on Facebook. Maybe we should do more. I don't know.
I heard Byron got our numbers up on Parlor pretty good too.
Anyway, that over there is at Lucha Gringo, the Professor Casey.
Hi.
What's going on, Case? How you been, man?
Nothing, man. I'm just on vacation now, so I'm good. This is day 1 of 9.
Wait,
I'm on a break.
You still look sane. You still look sane, so that's a good sign.
You're not
Yeah.
teaching?
No, I am taking a break.
Okay, so
Preaching.
now is the time you said that you would work on a script with me. So let's do it.
No, that's cool.
No, that's what you said. That's what you said.
I got nothing to do with that. That over there is at Meefloaf. How's it going, Meef, on the across the pond? Meefloaf from across the pond. How's it going, brother?
That's all right. I'm
Did
tired
you,
today.
I take-
Tired today.
You're not incarcerated, so that means you got away with robbing that liquor store last week, and kudos
That's
to you.
Yep, good work.
How's the old
Yeah,
COVID doing in England there? Are you guys reaching saturation levels like we are
God,
here?
no.
So it's
Yeah.
us. We're the
Oh
idiot.
no. So yes, we are saturated as fuck, but we're like, gone second lockdown, but no one's locked down really. It's supposed to be back to like how it was in like March and April, where we like literally couldn't go out the house unless it was. No, everybody's out. Everybody's going to
Everybody's
supermarkets in groups of 6. Yeah.
Well, California just locked down again, but that does not include entertainment industry professionals. So we're fine. You guys still get to be entertained by us.
And
Yeah.
I work at a supermarket, so I
you know
have to
what-
feed you, you bastards.
We're all
You know,
essential
it's a lot of-
workers somehow.
Yeah. You know, it's
Yeah.
a lot of fun. These essential workers, how like, okay, one, no one cares about the lockdown, so they still do whatever. But two, the press also kind of doesn't care anymore. Like you don't hear about people working in grocery stores getting COVID. You don't hear about. I saw one article about a guy who died from COVID on a film shoot, on a TV shoot or commercial, but it's all film for people outside the industry. But I saw one article. However, everyone I talked to has a story. Someone.
Oh yeah, they're everywhere. Like
Mhm.
one of my producers from the last show that I was on went on to another show after that, and he is stuck somewhere in Connecticut with COVID right now, locked in a hotel room, hating life, and still working basically.
Yeah, they make you work.
And deathly ill. Like hopefully, I mean, he's a pretty strong, hardy guy. I mean, like he's a fisherman and he's like super active, healthy guy. But he's got a family and shit too. I was kind of worried about him and bummed out that the production he went on after the one I was on with him didn't take care of him, and that they're still working him to the bone. That kind of sucks. I won't mention the show, but fuck those guys.
Fuck those guys.
But it's
Lucha
what-
Undergrounds.
But you're yeah, nah. Wow, wouldn't that be something else right now? But yeah, it's funny because you don't hear about a lot of the day-to-day stuff, yet one person dies on Wipeout from a heart attack on a pretty much a show that's designed to induce heart attacks. I don't know.
Yeah, a little bit.
They
I-
should-
If not brain aneurysms by hitting you in the head.
I'm
Like,
gonna
they
be
should-
real. I thought people would die on the dodgeball show first. I'm just saying that seems
For
way
roids.
more head injury.
I mean, no,
kind of
they get hurt real bad, but it's mainly because they'll book people who aren't athletes on a show where you need a lot of athletic ability, and then they get messed up real
Right.
bad.
Let's put
This
this
heart
correct
thing,
into
though-
context, though.
I would
Less
like to
people
say,
have died on storm chasers, haven't they?
for the record, more
Huh?
people have died on reality game shows than they have in MMA.
Yeah, but not wrestling in the ring.
Well,
So-
yeah, wrestling still, yeah.
Yeah,
But also, Wipeout, it doesn't go 54 weeks of the year somehow. You know what I'm saying? Like wrestlers
doesn't
just
get time off.
Go all the time. Even MMA fighters go less than boxers. They go, twice a year. Boxers a lot of times are going 4 or 5 times a year, getting beat in the head. Football players doing 14, 15 games a year, getting crashed in the head. Reality show contestants not in peak physical condition like these athletes are getting scrunched. But somehow MMA fighters, it's like you take a vicious shot to the dome, but it's over. And then you go and sit for 6 months. That's
I don't know. Whenever I watch American reality TV shows involving fitness like the Dwayne Johnson one on Netflix, it's almost like in America, you guys can professionally be stay-at-home people who professionally just train out. Because that's all they do. These guys are just like, all I do is train all day.
Yeah, you just need to say you're a personal trainer.
Ninja warrior.
But that's what it is. They are a lot of them are personal trainers, and they're getting paid, $400 or $500 a day. They get like $100 an hour to train some other person. A lot of times, anywhere from $60 to $100 an hour. So they'll make $300-$400 a day.
Train people to eat.
Yeah, and
they get free gym time them too. So then they're not paying for their gym time, so they can just be gym rats all the time.
Here's another secret too. A lot of the people you see on the shows, especially Big Brother, they're all like actor models who don't have careers, whose manager got them TV time somehow.
And they get paid grip of money for sponsorships on their IGs now as influencers, which is actually kind of where I wanted to start today in talking about Zelina Vega and her exit from WWE because she was making more money on Twitch than she was with the WWE with her contract. So she kind of let it go and said some jibber jabber about unionizing and this, that, and the other thing. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Everyone who makes under $1 million a year in the WWE is probably in favor of unionizing. And everybody who makes more than that is probably not. And it would be a really weird, it could work if they unionized it, but at the same time, it would be very, very strange to try to level the playing field and make things more equal in a sport that is all about not being equal and about creating superstars. And, I don't know exactly how unionization would work. It'd be great for work schedules and health benefits and protection from certain things, but the pay scales.
They could do a pay scale if it actually scaled, because I used to work in a place that had if you did certain things, met criteria, you were paid more. That's the only way they could really.
Okay, but what happens get away with it? But what happens if you get a guy like, I don't know, let's say Dolph Ziggler or Baron Corbin, one of these guys who's been around.
Them. They both suck.
Well, but that's what I'm saying. So they've been around a long time. They've worked their way up the pay scale. All of a sudden, they're getting Undertaker levels of money, and they're not drawing flies for you. That wouldn't really work, would it? I mean, it's not. It's like the NFL has a players' league, a players union to a certain extent, and it protects certain things, but they have to have some kind of way for negotiations to go above and beyond the scale. Like there should be some minimums, but the upper levels can't be defined by that because of course you're going to pay Russell Wilson $132 million, but you're not going to pay some schlub 4th string quarterback that kind of money just because he's been in the league or got a few starts or something. It doesn't make any sense.
Well, it's never going to work.
As well, it's really very difficult.
I think
it's very difficult to drop someone's wage because of performance, because it's scripted.
Well, that's true too.
You couldn't really go, by the way, you haven't won in months. That's because you wrote me to lose.
But they still have meters that they can judge the value to the company. But how much money you bring in through merchandise, although you can't sell merchandise if you're not on TV, and that's where they figured out to limit their Twitch and other things, so they still control the leverage. And that's, I think, what it boils down to is the leverage that the wrestlers have against the company, which is also why they're not really building up another John Cena or trying to. Another thing is Vince is stubborn, and that helps in some ways, but also he's not going to be told how to run his company. He's not going to be told how to have fines and how to have rules by someone else. And so I think if they unionize, then he'll find a way around it. He just won't play with the union. He'll do something else.
He'll fire all the wrestlers in the union and get 900 other indie guys that would work without a union as scabs
like TV shows.
And people will probably watch that too because it'll be exciting to watch him completely rebuild.
Well, so like in the past 2 weeks, you have two ends of the spectrum. You have Zelina Vega, who is on a pre-AEW contract, who isn't making pretty much any money because she's not touring. She's not doing house shows. She's not picking up all that extra money. And then you have Alexa Bliss, who's a big star and getting another big run on TV. And one of them won't quit her Twitch and got fired and is now meeting with the head of SAG and all of that. And the other one is pretty much bootlicking on talk shows, talking about how great WWE is and how unions are bad. You have that spectrum straight to like Justin's point about how you're not going to get it done. You're always going to have that Alexa Bliss category. Like, tell me the Samoans, tell me like Roman Reigns he's a locker room leader and there's an aspect to that, but tell me he needs a union. Right?
No, not even close. He is a union unto himself. He doesn't need it.
Right. Like, so there might be something where even like someone like him who wants to look out for the locker room, those concerns may not ever be on his radar, and that's going to hurt the leverage, Also, like if you've read Jericho's books, he tells a story about how in the Batista match where one of them juiced and Vince fined him, all of that was arbitrary.
Right.
Like he does that stuff and like he treats his wrestlers like family and he rules like a boss and will fine them for breaking his rules when he feels like it. And he does what he wants, how he feels like it, And it's just like, he's not going to want some SAG law that says, if this happens, if you get blood on a show without permission, you're going to get fined. He's going to want to be the one, and he's going to, in the conversation, he's going to figure out how mad he is, and then that's how much you owe him.
Right. And I mean, and look, it works and it doesn't work. It does keep people out. It is an exclusive club. There has been a lot of mistreatment and misuse of people to a certain extent, but it's a circus. It's a carnival environment. It's also a TV show. So my feeling is that if anything, these guys are on TV every week. They should go SAG and be protected by the SAG regulations. And there doesn't need to be some separate. I mean, I know it's an athletic endeavor and your body and that kind of stuff is one thing, but the SAG rules have certain protections for that too. I think it should just all be covered under SAG, and they should, if anything, they should flip the shows to be SAG shows. But again, that still requires the wrestlers themselves to join 75%. SAG. Yeah.
Okay, Justin. Wrestlers probably don't know about SAG dues and how high they are. It's been a long time since I've looked, but do you remember what SAG dues are each year?
Oh, I know it's a couple thousand right off the bat to join.
Yeah, you got to pay up front. Yeah.
And then they take a chunk of pretty much everything you make after that. And then if you have years, there's certain considerations. If you have years where you don't make a lot of money, but usually they want to tap into residuals and other stuff like that. Like it's basically, look, you pay and you need to keep working, but they also help you find a lot of work and they help provide, ways to do that. And that might be difficult in the wrestling business. You got some NXT performer that's on some, developmental contract coming up and barely getting any TV time. Yeah. Joining SAG's going to be a real kick in the butt. And it's like that for any, young actor or person just getting in. It's very difficult. And you have to walk the fine line between doing independent stuff and not independent stuff. But if you get to WWE, you're working for a company that has 3 television shows a week, every single week of the year
around the world,
and more because of pay-per-views on top of that. So you're on one of the most, prolifically produced programs in the world. It's either that or daytime talk. Like nobody else does this many episodes consistently a week of any type of dramatic television other than WWE. They have 7 hours on major
maybe not,
outlets
yeah.
every week.
But on top of that, first of all, they remind you every single fucking show too. You know?
Yeah.
But on top of that, they have their YouTube content and
their own network,
their network, like
pay-per-views.
Like I've applied, I've interviewed for jobs that had nothing to do with wrestling with WWE. I've had friends who have even gone into the office for their reality shows as a reality producer for that type of content programming. They are their own network, not the network, not the band, the network, by the way, that has a great EP that just came out. Look them up. But they're not. It's not the WWE network. They're like, the CW. They're like UPN. They're like WB. Whatever. Like they have maybe, if not more, reach than those.
Yeah,
I never heard of them, so.
It's ridiculous. So with Zelina here,
she's a winner. She's the winner.
Is she?
She's getting paid more money. She's left. She get paid more money. People are going to buy more of her merch and stuff.
She's getting more of it right now.
Right.
But how long before she becomes really obscure? Like I look at
TNA
AJ,
and AEW.
but I look at AJ Lee. What does AJ Lee do right now? When AJ Lee came out of WWE, there were still sponsorships. There was still a ton of opportunities, this, that, and the other thing. And I know she's settled down and doesn't necessarily need the money, her and CM or whatever got going on. But at the same time, like nobody remembers Zelina even played her in that friggin' Page movie.
Yeah.
Like AJ Lee didn't even get to play herself in the movie. They didn't even rewrite the character. They just sent Zelina in to play her. But I'm just saying, it's like for a talent like that, who's a low to mid-level tier character who only had one real major title shot on a pay-per-view, right?
Right.
And had some middling storylines. Like even if she goes to AEW, is she gonna be able to outside monetize what she has going right now for an extended period of time without the WWE? Is it even possible? Was in 3 or 4 years she'll make more money right now, but then in the long term, if she had stayed with WWE, she'd probably make more money 3 or 4 years from now. I don't know.
I feel like you're underestimating how big of perverts video game fans are that watch.
We've seen the OnlyFans people. Come on. We know how much money people making on OnlyFans.
I think I think there's two things. One, to Justin's point, WWE brands, they're superstars, and everyone complained that, and I was one of them that complained that they don't call their talent wrestlers, they call them superstars, but they are global superstars, and everyone is their own brand, and it extends beyond actually wrestling in the ring.
I agree.
She doesn't have that anymore.
And if you are an attractive young lady, it is proven that there are ways to monetize it yourself now outside. Look, oh my God, Yaya Rincon has made a pile of money. She has thousands of subscribers to OnlyFans. It's a not nude thing, I don't believe. And right off the bat, I mean, she's making more money off of OnlyFans in 1 month than she made off of her entire MMA career before she had a baby. It's crazy. Yeah. Just because she's, an attractive young lady with a little bit of a following. She had 2 or 3 fights in Invicta, which got her enough of a following and got her name out there, got her in the industry. She's got a bunch of other fighters that kind of follow her and whatever. So she's a known quantity, but still, as far as sports go, completely obscure.
It's genius though, because it's throwaway money. It's like $10 a month. So like you get 1,000 people. You get 1,000 people to do that. It's $10,000 a month.
I think hers is like 13 or 14 bucks in a month, and she's got like 10,000 subscribers or something.
But another thing
in a month
is that, I mean, the way I look at her whole thing is just like everything that happened. I think it all played out exactly how it plays out for everyone. I don't think anyone got screwed. I just think it is what it is, and
we'll see how it works out. For some it works, for some it doesn't. I don't know. Like Paige Van Zant, when she left UFC, she's doing bare knuckle fighting. She'll take a couple of fights there to keep her exposure out there.
Singing for Lynyrd Skynyrd.
She's got legit sponsors. After she did Dancing with the Stars, she gets sponsored on her IG for like $10,000 a post. Yeah. I mean, literally she does 10 or 20 posts a year for that price. And she's already made more than she was making in the UFC. Because she was on like Scheduled 3 contract or something in UFC, which is absurd because she was a superstar, whether she was winning or not. Just because she never held a belt, she wasn't making real money in the UFC. It's crazy.
Well, so, but also my thing with Zelina is that, and I don't know too much about the cosplay industry and that whole thing, but I do know, like, I have watched her career since NXT, and she has been putting in the work. She's been putting in the work to like, I guess, sponsor her own, pay for her own shoots and do all this stuff. And she's taken it seriously, and she's doing it. And I'm sure she could be successful enough, but also look at, like, between her and Aleister Black, how much do they need? How much do they need? And I really respect the choice for quality of life as well.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe. And look, and that's where it paid off for CM Punk and AJ Lee. Yeah. I think that they are far happier people in general now.
Right.
You know, and that, believe me, that accounts for a lot. But at the same time, her stated case right now is that it was a monetary decision and not a quality of life decision. Well, so I don't think her quality of life at WWE was bad. She just didn't want to get rid of her Twitch, and she liked with the money that she was making on the side. Mm-hmm. And I just feel like there has to have been some better way between WWE nixing the whole thing of just WWE saying, okay, but if you do it, we get a cut. Like, you can do it, you pay for all the production yourself, but because of the fact that you're famous because of us and you are our talent right now, you pay us 20% of everything you make on there. So then it's just free money for WWE.
Was there talk that she wanted to discuss something like that with them?
I don't know. I have no idea if anyone has discussed that. From what I heard, WWE just clamped down the whole thing and said no.
It's because WWE is looking to exclusively partner with Twitch and take everything for themselves. And that's why.
I totally,
same with Cameo.
By the way, I totally get that too. It's part of them branding their superstars. And it's part of, you know, them making money off of the superstars, their talent that they invest in. I totally get that. That's how it's always been before the internet came around, before these programs came around. I totally get that. Also, you know, you're handcuffing your talent because now you're Kane pushing Zack Ryder off a cage. You're in that whole cuck angle where Zack Ryder found something to get himself over, and WWE put a stop to it and said, "We get you over." And that's what they're doing now. We get you over, not you.
I guess so. I mean, and it's a weird line to walk because this is totally new territory because, you know, WWE is big enough that they could create their own platform for any one of their stars who wanted to stream their own show or to stream their own stuff. If they wanted to, they could do it right through .com or they could do it through network.
They have one. It's called the network. That's literally what the network is built for. It's so dumb that they're just too short-sighted to see shit until it blows up and someone's successful at it because they don't make new innovative ideas anymore. They're just a company run by old people that fucking sucks.
Yeah. There's that. And
I mean, Casey's done the entire conversation we've just had in 3 seconds. So.
I love. I saw a Brian Gerwitz tweet. I'm sure everyone has seen it, or I don't know if he was repeating just a meme that goes around whenever a lead writer for WWE pops up on the job listings, where it's a picture of the boardroom in Vince's office. They're talking, and it's for the show that listeners of this show would see last weekend. Because Survivor Series. So he's like, so we're going to do a show based on brand supremacy and competition right after a draft, where it's hard to establish, brand loyalty in such a short amount of time. So we're trying to build a show without stakes, and without stakes, the matches will seem forced and, awkward and stuff. And then it ends with, and I'm fired, aren't I?
Yeah.
Well, it's so true though, and by the time you people, the denizens, see this, Survivor Series will have ended. But also, who cares? WWE actually did a decent job with the last 2 pay-per-views before this, and the Halloween Havoc thing with NXT and the NXT pay-per-view before that. They've done 4 great things in a row. And this is absolutely doomed to fail. None of these titles are changing hands because it's all title versus title, except not for the titles, not for unification of the titles.
Yeah.
It's a bragging rights pay-per-view top to bottom. That
It's an
makes
all-star game.
literally no sense. It is an all-star break. It's a terrible
And
all-star
the fact
break.
that all of the storylines going into it, what the thing is, a heel turn or someone turning on someone should be a surprise. But what they do is they do the most obvious tension for like the 4 weeks, 6 weeks leading to it. So it's like, you know what's going to happen. You know someone's going to screw someone.
Look,
Whereas I think
Roman Reigns.
if you go down the NXT route, it was the one with the Dakota turning on Nixon. That was huge. You know, that was quite a big one. That was quite a
awesome.
surprise.
Yeah,
But see, they also
don't do that
have
with-
their own between their own personal relationship and between their knees. They had a long, very complex story that everyone was invested in, regardless of what NXT was writing for them.
yeah. Look, I don't know. Like, I think Roman and Drew did a decent job of building their whole thing of like, yeah, you're a champ, I'm the champ, and right now because I'm the champ, this is my deal, and you're just kind of the guy that they call when the champ is not available. And that's a slightly interesting storyline, but that is a half a storyline on a card with like 10 matches, and it's just ridiculous. Anyway, look, we got to take a quick break.
Has Drew McIntyre already won the title back?
Yeah, he won the title back. I actually accidentally watched that match.
Well, yeah, and by the time you watch this, it won't matter.
I watched that match and I was like, all right, cool. And then because if I'm not doing anything, I'll put Raw on in the background Mondays, but I'm not.
It was a good call because that the champ versus a champ thing is the only thing they had to go on, and Randy Orton is too established. Randy Orton versus Roman Reigns is a WrestleMania match for a title. It's not a throwaway match. It's way better for it to be Drew. Anyway, we got to take a quick break, and then we'll come back. We're going to talk about some new Wall of Shame stuff. And then we've also got a very interesting episode of Lucha Underground on the Rewind this week to talk about. So stick around. Right now, let's head over to Denise Salcedo and Lucha Central to find out everything that's happening this week on the Lucha Central Podcast Network.
More like Pooh McIntyre, am I right?
Yeah,
that's where you cut it. That's where you cut it.
I feel bad for him because
if he was a color, it would be like beige, like so beige that it's actually double named beige.
It would be the color I look right now with the sunlight coming through my window.
I'm
Supreme Magnolia.
Honestly, Roman better win that match. If they put Drew over, that's just stupid.
Dude, Roman is he's hot as hell right now in WWE.
They should just let Roman run over people for like a year at this point. Like,
has he started his own sort of group with the Usos?
Yeah, it's him and Jey Uso. He's the head of the table, and Jey is like his bitch boy now, which is actually really, really funny because every time Jey tries to like step up and protect Roman now, Roman's like, I didn't tell you to do that. Get the heck out. What are you doing?
I love it.
Get to the back of the line. I'm in charge here. Like when I tell you to go after somebody, you go after somebody. Until then, shut the hell up. Sit down. It's
Jamie Noble.
It's amazing. Yeah, it's the best storyline they could have possibly done with Roman.
I love it. See, I hope they build on that.
The best storyline they could have done with Jey Uso.
I hope they
for
build
sure.
on that.
Jey is loving it. Jey's like, oh yeah, I'll be Roman's bitch on TV because that means I'm on TV. Unlike the last 4 years where you guys use me twice a year.
Like he's doing great in that role, and he's a career tag team wrestler where he's like, it also like there's no individual identity.
But they needed something to mitigate that amped up ridiculous character he has too. It's like because that's naturally who he is.
Yeah.
But if you just get that and that's the whole promo without something else either funny or bringing it back down or giving it some perspective, it's just horrible. It's like, dude, you're just so over the top. Like, it doesn't work. Anyway.
Hey everyone, it's Denise Salcedo here in Lucha Central with a reminder of where and when to catch all of the great network content this week. Get the full lineup and listen to all of our shows in the podcast network section of luchacentral.com. Sundays on the Lucha Central Facebook page, world-traveled shooter of the camera kind, Jerry Villagrana goes mano a mano with a fellow photographer to throw down about some of their favorite photos they have taken at Lucha Libre events. Monday, Business of the Business returns as Mass Republic President Kevin Kleinrock takes you inside how your favorite Lucha Libre merchandise gets made. On Tuesdays, Mass Mats and Mayhem takes you inside the world of Lucha Underground as they take you weekly through the series with the benefit of hindsight and the benefit of special guests from the groundbreaking series. Check out the premiere video stream every Tuesday at 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern on the Lucha Central YouTube channel and at luchacentral.com. Then listen to it on your favorite podcast platform every Wednesday. Tuesday nights live, it's Wrestle Boss, where Favi Chulo talks MMA and pro wrestling with special guests and listener call-ins. Visit WrestleBossLive.com Tuesday nights at 7 p.m. Pacific to listen live or call in with questions or download the show on podcast platforms on Wednesdays. Wednesday nights live on Facebook, it's Spanish show La Mesa de los Márgaros, giving you both the news and the chisme from around the lucha world. Special guests and a whole lot of fun make it one of the most talked about shows in Mexico. Thursdays, it's Straight Out of the Bodega with Papo Esco and PWR promoter Gabriel Ramirez as they have guests from throughout the wrestling world pull up to give an inside look into their careers. From indie standouts to television superstars, each week brings a new name and perspective. On Friday, it's your double dose of Lucha Central Weekly podcast, one in English y el otro en español. Lucha Central Weekly is where you'll find all the top stories of the week, both inside and out of the ring from Mexico and anywhere luchadores are in action across the globe. Be sure to subscribe and follow all your favorite Lucha Central Network series on your favorite podcast platforms, either by their own series name or subscribe to the Lucha Central Podcast Network show pages to get all of the shows in one easy feed. And please consider giving a rating to help more fans find the shows that you love. For now, this is Denise Salcedo signing off from Lucha Central Central. Have a great week.
All right, guys, look, I got to talk about the wall of shame. I have some serious things that need to go on the wall of shame this week, all involving racism. Just racists. Anyway, no, like here's my thing about racist. Like, if you are a white person, and you have the interests of white people at heart because you are one of them, I don't have a ton of an issue with that. I don't like it. It's not my favorite thing in the world, but at the same time, I think it's your right. It's your right to protect, to a certain extent, what you believe in and what helps you out. I mean, that's part of the American thing, but it's the at someone else's expense part that is super duper problematic. And that's the difference between someone who is all about black power compared to somebody who's all about white power, right? I mean, that's basically the difference, because if you're about black power, it's coming at the expense of people who have gotten over on you for hundreds of years. If you're all about white power, you're basically saying, no, I want to keep getting over on other people and keep them down who have never had a chance. And it's kind of messed up. But that's neither here nor there. So look, one section of people in this country right now believes in a little bit of that because they don't like seeing their things slip away. They don't want to see their big pharma and their big energy and their big money and their golf courses and that stuff slip away. And why the uneducated, lower class white masses are following those people, it's because they're mad that other people are getting a chance to get a leg up before them. I get it. You know, and then you've got the other side who's saying, look, equality, like, give us a chance. We're decent people. We're the same as you. I just want to get on board. And now I'm super duper pissed. And some of those people are handling it well. And some of them are handling it poorly too. Whatever. I don't care. My whole thing is, like, do it with at least a little bit of respect and do it without threatening violence on other people and do it without being mean. But this is funny when it comes to wrestling stuff, because people who are in the wrestling world are just fucking carnies, right? Yeah. So I won't even regale you with everybody who's already on the wall of shame. I just want to get this new guy on the wall of shame because he is a hilarious piece of crap.
Okay. I don't know where you're going with this because I've been staying offline most of the week, so I'm interested in where this is going. You might have to explain it a little more.
This is the guy. Well, this is the guy that Byron was talking to us about, and you guys were talking about a little bit in our DM. I want to talk about Louis Benson, editor Louis Benson. This
that guy,
freaking cuck, is on the wall of shame.
I know who you're talking about.
This freaking guy. Okay, so, and Byron, you can help fill in the story a little bit. This guy has some weird Cody thing, right? What's his deal with Cody?
So he said he wants his meat in his mouth or something.
So he's basically just He's a guy who probably has no friends and had no proper decent social encounters in his entire life. And then he goes and he acts out, and he's just really fucking weird. And he says stuff that's inappropriate. And he says he was trying to be a like shock sort of comic in his. He deleted a bunch of tweets. This is one of them, but you can find a screen grab. He said he was trying to be sort of a shock comic on Twitter in his teens. This is like a few years ago. He tweeted that he wanted Cody's meat in his mouth, and his reasoning was, I was making a joke because he was barbecuing a lot. That's his boss, and that's his boss who he says he felt very uncomfortable around, to the point where one time he saw Cody in person, and Cody said hi and high-fived him and walked away, and then he had to go and hyperventilate somewhere else. This guy is just he's the guy at your job who you don't really have a reason to fire, but you don't want him around, and he doesn't really contribute anything special.
So he's the psychic vampire guy on What We Do in the Shadows, basically. But during his workday.
I need to watch that, but I also would not use a metaphor
Jesus
to anything
Christ.
Cool to describe him. He said a bunch of
that's
stuff.
fair.
There was now I'm forgetting her name, but there was a female wrestler who's doing if you guys remember, let me know. But she's doing dark matches and stuff. She's one of the indie extras on AEW.
Lady Frost?
No, not Lady Frost. But she did a music video scene where she was doing like Snow Angels in Serial, and he made a joke about how he paid her $2,000 to make a Serial fetish video for him. And whatever, that's a joke, and she may have found it funny too, but it was like, for a weird guy like that, it's a bit off-putting.
Right, but so this guy that we're talking about here, who
hold on, Justin. Wait, was the Serial Count Chocula?
No, it was it was colorful
this guy.
because it was for a music video.
Fuck this.
Casey's paid The Undertaker £1,000
This
to
guy,
do a Count Chocula.
Yeah.
So for the record, this guy works for DDP's production company too, right? He's an editor for them, and then these guys were doing some work for AEW. But
Bang.
he puts out these tweets that he's back on the internet now, and he's all mad at AEW, and pretty much only really references Cody by name and doesn't reference anyone else. And he's saying that things from the time he started off in AEW were weird, and that Cody apparently requested that he not be present in certain meetings and whatnot. Obviously, you said you wanted the dude's meet before this, so I could see why maybe he wouldn't want you present in some things. And then, he's talking about how he was terrified and intimidated by the man. Maybe that's because you said some super inappropriate things to him as an internet troll before you went to work for him. He was told not to talk to any talent, probably because you've said really inappropriate and trollish things to talent on the internet before.
Or that's just standard operating procedure for a production person, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, yeah,
to a certain extent. I mean, but yeah, you're like an assistant editor, or you're a low-level editor that's doing a couple of segments. Like, you're not the guy. So yeah, like, it's a business of kind of hierarchies and whatnot. You speak when spoken to, kind of thing. And that's always the way it's been. And he had done some work for these guys and hadn't received credit and on-screen credits or anything like that. Because guess what? Most wrestling shows don't put credits on the screen because they don't want you to think about how it's a scripted production. Also, most sports don't do that in general. UFC is one of the few.
The only people that did that was WCW, because Dusty made them so he could put Virgil Runnels in all the credits.
That's smart. That's smart. See, that's when you're the boss, you get to do whatever you want. But like, I was reading his stuff, and he's like, I wasn't in the credits for the Road 2 series, and it blew my mind. Like, you don't put credits on a promo. Like, it blows my mind when you see a music video and you see directed by on it. Like, you don't know. That's like if you had the Chiron in the lower screen, maybe. But
no, it's like
if you're cool in the 90s.
if you're Thriller, you can do that.
Well, if you're Michael Jackson, by the way, who is a pedo on the Wall of Shame. But if you are that level, he's still the king of pop, though. You can do whatever you want, except for the pedo stuff.
Can't do
that's terrible.
No, you
That's
can't do
terrible.
that.
I don't know where you're going with this. That's terrible.
No,
Anyway,
just
but
saying,
this guy,
he could put names on a screen, but
let me get
but
to the
not
point.
other
So,
stuff.
But not
like, look,
pedophiles.
I've posted my credits and stuff, but here's the thing. I also know the rules in my industry. You don't post your credits or you don't post certain things about shows before they air. Once they air, it's more free game and you can put stuff on social media and you can talk about some of the places that you went and things that you did and people that you saw, and that's fine. And you're excited about it. And it really sucks sometimes because you'll be in production. You'll be out on the road doing something super fun and awesome and cool with all sorts of people, and you can't post about it. You can't talk about it. So you'll see times when my social media just goes kind of dark. And it's usually the times when I'm doing the coolest shit. That's just the way it goes.
Same with sometime host Jim Velasco.
Yeah, I'm like
He's
look,
constantly
Jim,
doing crazy shit now, so we know
Jim gets up to some stuff
Yeah.
with some people that you would love to know about. You would love to live his life. I know I
I don't
would.
know about what he's about the people he's with and what he's doing with them, but that's a whole
I
nother
mean, he's probably barbecuing at Johnny Gargano's house right now. Who knows? But anyway, like, so this kid, you know, he gets a credit of some kind and he posts a bunch of stuff all over social media. And there's a couple problems with this because, yes, he did something for AEW, but he's also being contracted through another company. You know, and a lot of times, like, if you look at my credits list, you wouldn't know the shows that I've worked on because on my resume, it says the production company a lot of times and not necessarily the show. Or in the body, it says that I worked on this show, but for this production company. And so it looked like, you know, this guy is out there talking about that he was like some kind of integral editor for AEW.
Yeah.
You know, it looked like he was kind of the man, and it wasn't necessarily all his fault. Other people were posting congratulations and assuming some of this stuff, but he was certainly letting them. And, you know, so he goes into a meeting and basically humiliate the guy and make him delete his social media in front of everybody. So he's complaining that was bullying. And yeah, a little bit to a certain extent, because that kind of stuff does happen in wrestling. But think about why, because the guy's already trolled and abused the social media ahead of time. This looks like a red flag that he's starting to go that direction again and feel like he's somebody that he's not. And so now he's trying to put it all on blast. But brother, the second you put it on blast, all of us found out everything about you. And we found out that no, it wasn't you being bullied because you were being unfairly treated. It was you being bullied because you're a piece of shit.
Yep.
And it's that simple. And look, I'm not going to lie and say that I'm not a little biased on the Cody Rhodes side. Clearly I've worked with the guy before, so obviously I am, but also he was nothing but professional in the entire time. And he didn't have any reason to have to be like that with me. I've never heard any stories about him being unprofessional, but he also grew up in a completely carny business. So does he have a little bit of that in him somewhere? I'm sure he does. I'm sure he has a little bit of the old school wrestling mentality. His dad was one of the oldest, schoolest wrestlers of all time.
And to that point, there's a history that we had. He was one of the hangers-ons with DDP for a while now. He went and lived in the accountability crib, which is like such an old person name for your home. But he went and lived there to lose weight with DDP through the program. By the way, if you've seen a picture of him, you can answer that question.
Moral of the story, go do yoga, Louie, instead of trying to be some kind of internet hero. It's not working, man.
But also, like, it's like all that stuff was documented and, you know, put on social media to try and, you know, get buzz and stuff. And when Jake moved in, he had to move out because he was irritating Jake and he was irritating Scott Hall so much because he's just
wasn't he creepy with his wife, our partner?
And I gotta say, if you're irritating Scott Hall, who is by all accounts a fucking dick, that says something.
Yeah, when the bar is telling you you're going too far, son.
I love how, I mean, Scott Hall is like this retired wrestler who went through the whole recovery thing with DDP. He's, I don't know, 50, 60 years old, barely getting back into shape to where he could just walk again. And he's still like, back then in at the stage where he's at, he still was like, oh, that new WWE superstar who's like just 18. I'd love to like have her sit on my face or whatever he said, which by the way wasn't any better than what I just said. But like he's openly saying that.
Hey Byron, I got a question for you though.
Yeah, what's up?
Who is Mark Calloway's future wife? Do you want to answer this question?
I mean, he's not wrestling anymore, so I don't think he's going to get another one.
Ivanka Trump?
No, listen. Mark Calloway's future wife is somebody that Byron decided to follow on our IG account. Hold on, I have a picture of Mark Calloway's future wife, I believe.
No,
Can
we
I share
don't
my
need
screen?
to.
Is my
We
screen
don't
being
need
shared
to.
there, Byron?
Is it me?
Let's share my screen here.
We don't need to.
Oh,
do
it's
we?
the psychopath.
No, she's a nice person.
I don't.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Oh.
This is me.
Yeah, I don't want to do this. Cut this. No,
This is me.
I don't. Yeah, I don't want to.
This is a question for Byron. Byron, really, their profile picture is a Confederate cowboy hat, and you decide to add them to our IG? You are so going on the wall of shame.
I like cowboy hats.
Oh my God, are you serious?
I mean, first of all,
He's a big Dukes of Hazzard fan, Justin.
Yes.
I actually really enjoyed
And
that
James
show.
Storm.
I just didn't.
Oh, and Shane Storm.
I didn't notice, other themes. I was too young. I was born in Georgia. I've had a lot to
Too
learn in my
white.
life. So, no, I mean, we don't have a social media person on the show, so I'm doing it. So sometimes I just, I was just following a bunch.
Well, I will say this: I'm super duper open minded, but if you have a Confederate flag cowboy hat, I really don't need you as a follower.
That's true.
Ever.
Well, now I got to get Justin a different Christmas present.
No. If it's a Dukes of Hazzard one, that's okay. I'm totally fine with that. As
Yeah,
long as it's
that's
Dukes of
orange
Hazard
on it,
related.
fine.
There
has-
generally is orange. It's like
It
the thing on
says
orange, not on red.
Cooter. It says Cooter on the back.
It's okay. Yes, I'm completely fine with all of this. That I will chalk up to pure nostalgia. And if for some reason Mark Calloway's future wife, that's a nostalgic Dukes of Hazzard hat, then God bless her soul, and
I think she liked it because it had a blue line through it.
I just wasn't paying attention and I didn't notice. And
It's
I
fine.
really
I'm busting your balls. It's hilarious.
You guys are such dicks about the Undertaker. Like, we don't have friends of the show that have equally as bad political opinions.
I agree.
Oh no,
Yeah.
totally. But it's just
And look, I will say this for Taker. It's what I was talking about earlier. Like, look, he supports his causes, he supports his things. I don't think he's overtly racist in any particular way. I just do not necessarily agree with some of those ideals and values.
I absolutely don't agree with
I
this
do draw the
politics,
line
but
at Confederacy.
Yeah, I wouldn't call Undertaker racist. I would say he has horrible political opinions. But most of all of the Bone Street crew was like super multicultural crew. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's almost like it was a cover.
I think
He was really hanging out.
You're never gonna convince Captain Far Left over here. He's always gonna think that it's a piece of crap.
Saying he was
I go with two legs.
I'm the moderate one.
He was secretly hanging out with the DOA instead. Is that what you're saying?
Mm-hmm.
it's like
The Harris brothers, you were his best friends. That's what I'm saying.
Wow.
There's a story I heard of this one guy. You know what? I'm not gonna say the name, but this one guy who had a TV show where he was a cop or a sheriff or whatever. He had a badge and a gun. He got to arrest people. So they're like, let's make a TV show out of it. And he was an action star. So like it was kind of entertaining, but also like he would just go around and roll up on like groups of black kids in the street and shake them down for like pot charges or something, and eventually like the producers are like, hey, you're kind of arresting a lot of black people. It looks bad. He's like,
this was the show where the DP had to be a certain height or they were fired.
Yeah,
that show.
He had to shoot him down because he had such a fucking fat head. And
didn't this person do a lot of movies with DMX?
It's gonna give it to you.
Let me finish. DMX.
I
had a friend who just shot an asylum film with DMX. Look out for it. It's gonna be awesome.
I bet it will be.
But it's like they had to make rewrites on set because of like what he could or couldn't do or something. DMX rules. I will never say a bad thing about him, mostly out of fear. And a little bit
DMX does rule, first of all.
So but the producers are like, hey, you're rolling up on like all black people. This kind of looks racist. And he's like, yeah, that kind of looks racist. I should just roll up on some white people now. It's like, whoa.
Oh, did we even talk about Louis' super duper racist tweet? The whole reason why I started the racism thing.
The one about Perez Hilton.
Yeah, I mean, he called Perez Hilton an F-word, N-word thing, and it's pretty gruesome. Like that. By the way, that seals the deal for anybody who's like, "Well, Louis doesn't sound bad." Yeah, that was. I don't care if you're trying to be funny or not. That tweet was bad.
Louis went into business for himself moments after losing the job. He was trying to do that wrestler Carney thing, but he's not in the business for real. And so he did it wrong, and he tried to go into business for himself, and he lasted a few hours before he had to make all of his shit private, and everyone hated him.
Yeah, and look, on that note, I will switch to a more positive thing, which is even though Sonny is on the Wall of Fame already for having completed all of his college coursework, Sonny now actually has the diploma, so Sonny will still stay firmly on the Wall of Fame. Sonny Kiss on the Wall of Fame for graduating college. Yeah, go for it.
I have a fame and shame. First of all, congratulations, Sonny. We love you. Congratulations. Also, Hall of Fame, I would like to nominate our friend K0MAT0AST, aka Lucha Spawn, for sending me and Byron, we'll read it in a bit, a very nice DM discussing our video game segment, which was his idea.
Yeah.
And
he's the unofficial producer of the show.
Yeah, I personally want to highlight this because it is the only time any fan has personally contacted me saying I do a good job on this show in however many episodes, and it felt good. So, K0MAT0AST, aka Lucha Spawn, Hall of Fame, Hall of Shame, every other listener of this show, fuck you.
Wow.
I have a Hall of Shame.
Do you have this letter, Byron? What are these?
I do have it. I got to cough really quick.
Mine's Byron.
So, I'm already on the Hall of Shame. We just spent 45 minutes on it.
Now I'm putting you on there for the parcel. 3 weeks.
Wow.
4 weeks now. 4 weeks.
I shipped it. It's not my fault. Follow
Byron
the track.
Double on the Wall of Shame.
Follow the track. It's not my fault.
We're not responsible for
London.
customs, bro.
I sent you something in the mail. Like I'm not.
Paid 10p. 10p postage you put on that.
I paid like $20-some for it.
All right, so read this thing, Byron. What do you got? What did K0MAT0AST have to say? Thank you to K0MAT0AST and Goatse and Zeus, especially because those guys have been super duper consistent.
Yeah.
And
just K0MAT0AST, aka Lucha Spawn. Thank you. Everyone else,
wow.
Shame.
I want to thank Goatse, by the way, for watching my film Delusions of Morons.
Okay, that makes him on the Hall of Fame because I promised that if you watched the movie, you would be on the Hall of Fame. So Goatse.
So
Goatse's on the Hall of Fame.
So Goatse watched Delusions of Morons, and he even left a comment, and then he also probably thumbs it up, and then he sent me a message saying he liked it. So I appreciate that a great deal. I also don't appreciate that Eric Mutter, that piece of human garbage, has so far not done that, and I'm giving him an opportunity for salvation, and he refuses it. This is a choice he's making.
Hey, Byron, do you smell that? Smells like a fucking coward.
He's a coward.
Wow.
He should change his internet name to Coward Icon.
Coward Icon.
Anyway,
Coward Icon.
This we're gonna test my literacy here with this.
I can read it if you want, dude. I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at reading.
Oh, okay. The teacher's bragging about reading. So
he is in fact literate. Where you may not
stories
be
are legendary.
I work in TV, so take that for what you will. So he says, "Good day, legends." K0MAT0AST. Good day, legends. By the way, Casey and I is
legends.
Who he's referring to.
Yeah, dude, we're legends.
Yeah,
like Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, bro.
I mean, it's one of the many things we have in common with the Dragon.
This really could take longer than a New Japan segment, Meatflow. We might be here a while.
Yeah.
First of all, I need to say how
we're actually going to see Byron get the tip in his own mouth this time.
Guys, he's trying to read and he has attention span issues. Please,
I do have it.
So true. Wow, read that shit, Byron. I'm going to zoom.
I'm trying to, but you guys are talking. You know how StreamYard works. So, where am I? Oh, the beginning. First of all,
wow, all three of us just put our heads in our hands simultaneously. Oh my God. For the audio listeners, that just was tremendous. That was just the worst thing ever. Go, Byron, please. I'm shutting back up now. Just get through it, brother. Get through it. Today.
Oh, that
Shit.
killed me.
In this
So-
hour.
His phone's going off now.
First of all, I need to say how impressed I am of both of your historical knowledge of wrestling video games. You guys hit the nail on the head with quite an informative think tank, which is quite the in-depth analysis of your creative minds when it came to pitching a at Lucha El Rey, Lucha Underground video game. If I could add a couple bullet points to expand on your awesomeness, ... Environmental fighting scene transitions from being thrown through a wall into Dara's office or being put through the band's stage floor and falling through levels, through the backstage floor and ending up in the basement where the fight continues to possibly interrupting stable environmental interactions and plausible momentum options with the weapons, crowd interactions, as well as run-ins in reference to your storyline.
And I do have to point out, not only is that a great idea, but on current generation, which I mean is the PS5, because every one of you still on PS4 is in the past and complete garbage to me. Hi, guys.
You
There's
bought
not
me
any
the
loading.
PS4. It's not my fault.
That-
You guys
It's okay,
gave
'cause
it
he
to
currently
me.
has
It was
We'll be
ultimate
fine when
gift.
they release a smaller version of it. It doesn't take up an entire fucking room.
It
You
was
guys
the
wanted
ultimate
me to
gift.
be outdated and
It'll be a while.
old.
It'll be a while. But anyway, what I was
You got a gift that
saying,
turned into a rib. It was awesome.
what I was saying is that you won't have any loading time doing anything like that on the
Yeah.
PS5 or Xbox Series X.
Yeah.
Good
Yeah, no,
stuff.
I really want a PS5,
Fuck
but one,
Xbox.
I need to have a job to buy one because I have a
And,
work.
and two, you gotta finish this segment.
Yeah, and also like I don't know how I would travel with it. It's the size of a whole suitcase.
Wait,
Remember
is
what
there
I said
more to
about
this letter?
attention span?
There's more.
Yeah.
Oh, well, then
Remember what
read
I
it.
said?
Jesus Christ, I thought you were done.
You guys interrupted.
No, attention span problems.
You guys interrupted.
Casey made his one comment. Go back, Byron.
I
Go.
was gonna be like,
go.
where was I?
I'm
From the
waiting for you
beginning.
guys. I'm waiting for you guys to stop.
Yeah, just start it all over, Byron. Why
So
not?
the next,
Jeez.
the next bullet point, the next suggestion he has, and I can't believe we forgot about this. It was a lot of fun, especially as old WCW fans. Dario's Dial of Doom would change up the scenario stipulation direction of storyline, as well as giving a randomness to a multiplayer fight, which I feel needs to be touched on a little bit more in regards to how we could take multiplayer to the next level with next gen.
Okay, I think that's something that current gen did a little bit a couple Mortal Kombats ago. They had a test your luck thing that would put all these weird modifiers. I think that was on MK9 or 10. It's not on the current one, but it was fun as hell, and I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think it's great. I think that's another thing to where you can have where basically you're finding a new way to present things you
A
already
random
have in the
select.
game. It's a random
Yeah,
select, but you make it cool. But you don't necessarily have to create a whole new section of the game. It's great. It's smart. Here's another thing, which by the way, it's about the VR. It's about VR, and I recommend VR headsets for a lot of reasons. I think Justin and Meatloaf know why, because they seem like the type of guys who would be into
I
watching
don't
porn
like
on VR.
my stuff in 3 dimensions like that. No, not at all.
So, despite what Justin says, and because of what Meef says, I believe Casey's a deviant for other reasons. Anyway, next one. VR options, maybe for storyline cutscenes and interactions with the many Lucha Underground characters, as well as discovering unlockable content and hidden Easter eggs in the temple.
You know what?
That's just so
I'm
people can
like-
touch female wrestlers. I'm just saying.
Wow.
I'm just like,
Wow.
why not? I'm just like, why not on the VR stuff? I'm not really sold on it. I don't have a headset, is why, and I'm not going to buy one because they've been super mum on a new VR headset for the PS5. They haven't been saying anything, and you know there's one coming. They're just not saying shit so that you'll buy the old one, and I'm not going to fall for it.
I don't know how you go in between VR and non-VR for a game. Like, do you put the
some games
headset
do
on,
that.
or do you-
Yeah.
Fucking lawnmower man over here.
Yeah, you just take the headset on and off.
It
You got
seems
to
like
plug in
a
lot of shit for the PSVR as it is now, but hopefully the next incarnation won't be like that.
Here's the next one.
Oh, there's more.
There's more.
Oh, it's all good though. It's all
Okay,
it's like
I
good shit.
Comatose is on it, man. I'm not mad at it. Keep going.
El Jefe knows what's best for his Lucha Underground audience, and that's violence. R-rating blood and Mortal Kombat-esque slow-mo X-ray style bones breaking and faces shattering. As I say that, who is not visualizing Pentagon literally snapping an arm off of someone?
Yeah.
The other game that did it really well is, and I love playing that game, is Sniper Elite.
Yeah,
That's fantastic when you shoot someone in the testicles.
Also,
I would love to see a sacrifice power, as a finishing move too, which would be great. You call down the gods, and then your opponent just splatters in the ring instead of disappearing into some magical land. Since they never paid that off anyway, you could just
explode into blood.
Vinny would look like a pizza on the ring instead of just being slammed as a pizza on the ring.
Could you imagine Vinny pops up in that cloud space, that other dimension, with his pizza? And he's like, what the fuck? And then everyone's like, we haven't eaten since we got here. And they jump on the
I'm really looking forward to
season 5
of Stranger Things, where Vinny Massaro is in the
dark world.
Yeah. Upside down.
He's in the upside down with an upside down pizza, just dripping pepperonis and cheese off the whole time because it's the upside down. Anyway, go ahead, Byron. Is there more?
There is more.
All right, let's hit it.
I really appreciate your efforts, and think you need to give this segment a title, as you have the chance to evolve your passion for video games and wrestling into something special. 100.
Special is a good word for Byron. P.S. Your boy from down under needs to get this. I don't. Just read it. It's his words.
I know. Okay. Your boy from down under needs to get be on that wall of fame next to both of you bloody champions. Crikey.
Done.
Bloody champions. Crikey. All right. So first of all, you have to go back to the beginning.
They can hang out.
PPS, but he said PSS, by the way. I don't know if it's different down there. Hit me up anytime if you ever need more chaos and anarchy. Because with our powers combined, trios champions, just saying.
And he said he wants to play PS5 with us, which Byron doesn't have one. I'm sorry.
No,
I'm sorry.
Well, Byron will have to alleviate that at some point in time. So, Byron, I need you to do me one favor. I need you to go back to the very beginning of his mail, and I just need you to say the first word again. He says more. What? Oh, there's more?
There's more.
Okay. I thought that you were at the PPS. There's more? There's a PPPS?
No one ever praises me on this show, and you guys are trying to cut it short when it's the only time.
I'm not trying to cut it short. I keep thinking praise
Byron.
It's the way Byron talks. I always think that Byron is done after he says two words. Maybe that's just my programming.
It's the sections. I'm speaking as a voiceover artist, as you would speak when you're reading something for people to listen.
Okay. I've got you, Byron. I got your back on this.
Yeah, Casey knows.
If you are reading as an Australian, you have to go up at the end of a sentence so it sounds like a question.
Dude,
correct.
Start the whole thing over and do an Australian accent.
That's what I was hoping for. Like at least say good day, right?
Good day, mate.
Good day.
That's not a knife.
You're both legends.
I'm the only cool Hogan in the history of the world.
Hey, what about Kira Hogan? Come on.
Kira Hogan's awesome, by the way.
Okay.
Well, there are two Australian accents. There's the Australian accent, and then there's the extreme Australian accent, which is like, good day, mate. You might never shrimp on the barbie.
Why am I talking to you guys? I have
fucking evil
Shirai match on my TV.
Meath, we have a lot of Australian listeners, right?
Yeah.
Wow,
Meath just went full G.I. Joe dreadnought ass.
By the way, guys.
They're all convicts.
I'm talking to two. Yeah. So Meath is not coming biased to Australians. By the way, when we talk about racism and this or that,
I'm English.
So,
given he is English,
we have a history of taking
subjugating the world. Yes.
Yeah. So we need to say, Australian fans, we appreciate you a great deal, and also preemptive apology for anything that Meath has or ever will say regarding you. Just don't
apologize to the native people of Australia for sending our worst people there.
Wow. That's strong. That's so strong. Byron, are you going to read the end of this thing?
I'm just very amused by the concept.
It will never stop.
Okay, so all right. Here we go. Next final part. Also forgot to add the continuation of the Lucha Underground legacy. Hundreds of storyline ending transitions and variables of a choose-your-adventure style ending storyline scenario dependent on which direction and how each individual storyline finished. Using the most popular storylines that players of the game actually decided to play via directions they choose to play would translate into the next phase and new beginnings of script to pick up where Lucha Underground was left before coming to a halt, which in turn could allow the player to not just only have a choice, but possibly help shape the future direction of Lucha Underground if it were to ever resume. Insert
Or-
you to continue.
Also known as what did Matanza do to Ray's body? Choice.
Yeah, it's also known as taking the show,
Do you fuck the eye socket
out.
or the stump? I mean,
So we get to take season 4 out of DJ's hands. Completely fine with that. Let's do it.
Wow.
I've greenlit the game now. I've greenlit the game. Byron, give me some money.
I thought you'd greenlit DJ.
See, I mean, no, we still need the writers because they're going to write all the branches that it can go in. It's just we're kind of taking the choices out of their hands.
Yeah,
But dude, if there was a way to keep Killshot in the hood and then maybe put Dante Fox into one also and keep them both forever, I would do that.
That's some sex stream.
I don't know.
Just so everybody knows.
I don't feel
It
comfortable.
might be more of a
talking-
custom video than a sex stream.
Yeah, I don't feel
don't-
comfortable talking
For
about
just
this fetish
$200.
stuff.
Go ahead.
I don't know if Killshot needs a hood. I think what you said last week about how he did business right and he had the option to come back.
True, he did.
I think his character was more compelling than ever. I think he was one of the homegrown lucha stars that was getting better and better and also more complex as a character. And I think the step where he took the mask off helped, as opposed to like Puma taking the mask off means he lost his Lucha Underground sort of.
And we never got to see his face.
So it would be great. And also with the video game, you have these characters that they own. You have the masks and the faces. You could just like what they do in some of them where you have a game about a movie, but you don't necessarily have the rights to the actors. Just change the faces a little bit.
Look, it'd be a super interesting way to use some of that IP. It might be a little soon for it, but in a couple of years, if that IP still exists, but it's all tied up for the TV show rights, which is a whole nother thing now with Univision getting out and El Rey possibly being out soon of what's going to happen with the IP that, is still the property of Lucha Libre, FMV, and Dorian Roldan. But the TV rights, as soon as El Rey lapses on the TV rights, MGM still has an eternity of TV rights to the actual show. So they would have to be bought out or moved out of the process for Dorian to completely branch out. But I don't think that would exclude something like a video game. I just don't know if you'd ever get anybody to put the money behind an actual video game if there's no main property to promote it. But as a pure nostalgia thing, if there was a route to making money, it could be worth it. The problem is it requires an initial investment. And I don't know that any of the Lucha Libre FMV partners who have barely gotten their money back in the first place would really want to sock up more money for a video game.
What you would need.
One of my favorite video games is Kingdoms of Amalur, which was out on PS3, I think, originally. But that was made by either a baseball or former football player, I think. And basically, it did really well. And I think McFarlane got involved as well. And McFarlane did actually a big, massive statue for when it was released, like £200 edition. But now that's owned by the state of Iowa because he went bust. Exactly. And a lot of the guys end up working for one of the Gears of War companies, and like they were apparently working on a sequel, but they actually had the sequel made. Sorry, they had the sequel 90% made, and there was going to be no transitions between loading screens and stuff or loading areas. But basically, they just went bust because it cost them $46 million.
Exactly.
You guys want to see something cool? See what my phone lets me do? Not interested in Joey Ryan.
Oh, not interested. You can do that. That's kind of cool. I have a couple of those I need to do. Is that on
my newsfeed thing? Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, that's great. I think the game needs to have sort of an appeal like the WCW and 64 games like Def Jam, Vendetta that go beyond wrestling. Like Sonny, we were talking about him a minute ago. AEW Games put out a tweet, what are your top 5 games? And they were tweeting about No Mercy and WCW versus NWO and all that stuff. And he chimed in and said that was one of his favorite games at the time, but it predated when he first started watching wrestling. And I feel the only one. And if Lucha Underground were to make a game, if Lucha Underground were to come back as a TV show, it needs to transcend that wrestling audience.
Is that the end of the letter?
And it also needs to be good. He also said, Meatloaf and Justin suck. Tell them I said that.
Fine.
That's it. Sincerely, Comatose.
Wall of Fame, Dorian Roldan for doing some fantastic business by the looks of things with Martha. You never thought you'd hear me say that?
Look,
I mean, that's a big deal.
I've said it a few times recently. Dorian has turned a little bit of a corner, man. Mm-hmm. I don't know. I think he's gotten a little bit of wisdom with his age. Verdict's still completely out, but whatever.
Well, he's made big changes in not trying to steal his talent's IP, and also not making them ride a 16-hour bus ride. Hey,
look, I'm watching Triple Mania 2019 behind me, and the re-edit that they have on YouTube in Spanish is phenomenal. Like all the camera angles, the cinematography looks so good. It's like nothing like what it was like when it aired. And it is absolutely phenomenal. And it's like, if it was a DVD or something like that, I would totally buy that. That's awesome.
Well, we like watching old shit. I think we should talk about some old shit we watched right now. Maybe after a break.
Let's do that. I want
to ask real quick about just not even for the show, out of own curiosity. What's up with the Triple Mania this year? They announced it, right?
Yeah, they don't know yet. It's all still up in the air.
It's all hypothetical. Look, I also watched Penta versus Tejano from Autos Luchas, and it was very good. The honking horns thing, though, I cannot watch an entire event of that. It's worse than the piped in sound at NXT right now.
What's that what's that soccer
thing?
Yes,
that's what you need.
Wow.
No, you need to bring back
in South Africa.
You need to bring back Road Wild with all the motorcycles revving constantly. This is what you need.
And the COVID.
But look, there was a chair shot to the nuts, Casey. You would have liked it. Tejano was in very good form. I enjoyed it. So I'm kind of slowly going through some of the Auto Lucha stuff just to see, what's going on and what's happening. No storyline stuff, but that was a good match. They worked all the way to the floor. They worked up the scaffolding. They did some great spots, and those are two pretty big boys, and they got in there and hoofed it a little bit, without blowing up too much. So I appreciated it. I liked it. Anyway, let's take a quick break. We're going to come back with our Lucha Underground Rewind, and we'll talk a little bit about some of the awesome stuff going on in AEW with Thunder Rosa and Conan showing up and all sorts of fun stuff. So stick around. We'll be right back.
Lucha-masks.com, in partnership with Mask Republic, give you personal protective masks to keep you Lucha strong in the fight versus COVID-19. With world-class luchadors Blue Demon Jr., the Lucha Brothers, LA Park, Ultimo Dragon, Cain Velasquez, Conan, and so much more. Head to lucha-masks.com and you too can become a masked warrior. Lucha-masks.com, powered by Pro Wrestling Revolution.
All right, guys, let's talk about Lucha Underground. One of the things that we do occasionally on this program. For those who are asking why, because that was the thing that got us started doing this in the first place. And this episode was special to the Lucha Undergrounding podcast world in the fact that two of the initial Lucha Underground podcasts actually got mentioned on air. One of them being a show that I absolutely love and adore.
Twitwow?
Nah, yeah. I'm kidding. I don't know what it is, but those guys are the ultimate heels to me. Like, I just don't want to like them ever, but Chris Joseph loves them, so I guess
that's why, because you see who else DJ likes and supports. You know what company they're in.
Well, but he also absolutely loves the other podcast that Stryker mentioned on this show, the last real heels, Urban and J-Man, who in my opinion were the first Lucha Underground podcast. Even though I know Dante Oblivion, or whatever name he's going by these days, he was doing some Lucha related content in his show back then also. Those three groups were really the first people to to say, hey, this is enough part of the wrestling world that we're going to give it regular weekly coverage. And so they get a shout out on the show, which is also very rare. Have you ever heard any other podcast or wrestling show do that? Ring of Honor never did that for the people who were covering them. Impact never did that for the people who were covering them. And those shows were the same size and caliber as this one. And these guys, I really appreciate the fact that they got an on-air shout out to, and this was part, I think, of what built the whole idea that the believers and the audience actually mattered and were part of the family. And it's part of why we still talk about this fucking show to this day.
Yeah.
I mean, we wouldn't have a show
to people who about with the show.
Yeah.
We wouldn't have a show if it wasn't for the heels in the first place. Let's be real. So
for sure.
Yeah.
The heels, and they may be coming back. They're great. I still talk to them. They're awesome. But what I also found interesting about the show is you have TV guys like Eric Wagner. He told us about this.
It's not his name. Not his name.
Eric Wagner? Who's that? Mm-hmm. Eric Van Wagner.
Eric Van Wagner.
Yeah.
Do you know what Van means, Byron?
So EV-Dub.
Do you know the purpose of Van in Dutch names?
I almost
he just knows the purpose of Vans for picking up ladies' beef. It's okay.
So Van der or Van der is from the, whereas Van is simply from, and often referred to people who belong to a family.
Mm-hmm. Very fascinating, you guys.
So he's Eric from Wagner.
So
the family he could have belonged, his ancestors could have belonged to, could have been the Wagnons.
Guys, I'm hungry. Can we talk wrestling? Jesus.
Like number one, you can eat
angry Casey.
We're a mukbang podcast, by the way. Also, you could eat before the show. I'm also hungry.
I'm hungry again because we take so fucking long. So,
I wasn't the one that wrote the 15-page letter about video games. I wasn't me.
So EV-Dub mentioned how like he's done other shows that were much bigger, this or that, like The Apprentice, but he hasn't had that like connection with the fans. He hasn't had like the podcast that popped up and that direct feedback and support that he had with Lucha Underground and the level that it was. And so like I think it's really cool. They gave shout outs to Twitwall, they gave shout outs to LRH, and eventually you'll see Stryker wearing one of our shirts, which is amazing. I think it was just like a lot of these guys, some of them are wrestler guys, some of them are TV guys doing wrestling, but they're doing something they give a shit about, and then they see a bunch of people appreciate it, and I think it was new for them.
That is the one thing I will say about Lucha Underground in general is there weren't a whole lot of people involved who were just showing up for a paycheck. Everybody there seemed to care. And that could be for better or for worse. People cared enough about who they were as wrestlers to want to be in Lucha Underground. And there were ones that cared enough about what was going on that they wanted to get out of Lucha Underground. And everybody there definitely cared. Nobody was just showing up and getting a paycheck. That just wasn't the place to do that. And a lot of other wrestling promotions are. Like half the Impact roster is like, I'm here because I need a paycheck.
On TV.
Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about this episode real quick. Marty the Moth from La Jolla, California makes his super creepy up on Melissa debut.
Okay, so why
he's been on the show before, but he's never been this creepy before.
Instantly get the worst booze ever.
Because this was genius. So this was honestly, and I even have this in my notes, it was a great touch to say that he was from La Jolla, but yet that he had this Aztec tribal lineage, because if you don't know anything about La Jolla, California, and my grandfather's brother lived out there because he was a prof at the college and married some super duper rich white woman. So I've been there a bunch of times, but like that dude had his own tennis court. He lived 3 or 4 blocks from the beach. It's super posh, extra duper pretentious. And it's right, it's like this little tiny universe unto itself around all of these Latinos and other people and military personnel and people who work really, really hard for a living. And the people in La Jolla do not. In fact, I don't know if any of them have jobs. They just magically have money, which is why I started calling the Marty the Moth character Trust Fund Moth.
Which is great. You could say San Diego. It's like if you're from California to someone outside of California, where you're from, I'm from San Bernardino.
And people from La Jolla who
Los Angeles, like
people who are from La Jolla who
say San Diego, unless you're making the point.
Correct. Like if you're from La Jolla, and you don't want to be pretentious, you always just say you're from San Diego. And if you say you're from La Jolla, it's because you're trying to be a prick. It's just that simple. But so I thought that was a great touch, and it said so much about the character. And a lot of people were actually up from San Diego that week too, which is amazing. And so the crowd just instantly heals Marty. It was the smartest thing. And this whole match had lots of just little tiny things that got Marty over almost instantly. Stealing Vinny Massaro's real life story. It was beautiful. And they reiterate that on commentary of that. This is the guy who's been showing up and hanging around, and we're just going to finally put him on. The fact that Marty actually can wrestle and takes ridiculous bumps and actually worked pretty well with Ricochet, who has a completely different style. I mean, their styles, Prince Puma, whatever.
Okay. He did it right. I mean, he was in this.
Do you think Chavo Guerrero wrote this role for
Maybe. Maybe. That would be hilarious. Like, I don't like that other guy. I'm just going to give his whole thing to this dude. And the fact that they're playing him like he is a real no-name is hilarious to me also, and kind of an inside rib on the whole Tough Enough thing. It's a little bit of EB Dub ribbing himself. I liked it. Like, look, there's not a ton to say about the match. It was a match. Prince Puma was supposed to go over easily, but in the course of this match, they got over a character almost instantly. You know, they got over my champ. Marty is still to this day my champ. Damn it.
Pen is mine. You guys are dicks.
No, I'm so happy that Marty had a season 4. Marty's one of those guys, one of the homegrown lucha stars, but also he's one of the success stories of Vampiro. Vampiro is a legend, and he's smart and he knows the business. He gets in his way a lot, but Marty is an example of a Vampiro using his experience and guiding Marty towards that, you know, top of the card spot, rather than kind of sticking to one of his strengths, which is a comedy spot, but it doesn't get you the big payday.
Right. Well, look, this was a great way to make basically a jobber, and he was basically brought in to be a jobber, actually matter and mean something. And I think this was the start of them really trying to make jobber characters mean something in general, which they did. They all got over eventually. I mean, even the ones who are pieces of shit in real life got over, but I won't mention all that stuff right now. Anyway, this next vignette is probably one of my favorite vignettes of all time, because of the fact that this is the one where Conan calls Hernandez baby nuts. Yeah, calls him the sorry son of a bitch, calls him baby nuts. You know, it's great. Chants break out with baby nuts. It's awesome.
This begins, I think, Lucha Underground's post struggle to edit out the baby nuts chant every time he was on. I remember being on the show, but I remember it only, like, it's the only thing that happened when he was around live.
I will only ever refer to Hernandez as baby nuts, and I'm pretty sure he actually just hates that name. I think he absolutely hates it in real life, and he can't stand when people call him baby nuts. So it gets a great reaction out of him and should never, ever go away.
He like looks in his tights sometimes and says, no, they're not small.
No, yeah,
I know.
Yeah, he's going to prove it one of these days. And you guys are going to be sorry.
You're right.
He's going to teabag. Well, the one guy he won't teabag is Hot Tub Guy, because Hot Tub Guy is ready to whip him in the dick with the belt.
Look, since we're talking about baby nuts, I want to mention something right now, because I think that even if you have baby nuts, there's a product out there for you that can help you shave those baby nuts very safely, in fact. And I know about the safety of this particular product because even in the dark last week, I was still able to use my Manscaped Lawnmower 3.0. Can you, dude, the guide light? I'm not kidding. The guide light is something special. Because, like, you can contour and I wouldn't know about being able to contour the small baby nuts like Hernandez, but I think that even he would be able to use the Lawnmower 3.0.
No, just think about it. It would get the whole thing at once. It would just be like, and you're done.
Well, exactly. And safely too, with the skin safe technology. Yeah. That's the best part about it. Anyway, I do want to talk about Manscaped because, you know, well, we're contractually obligated to. So that's a good reason to do it, right? But the other good reason to do it is because I actually use the stuff every week now. I've had 3 or 4 weeks to very comfortably get used to using it. I know Casey has as well, and eventually we'll get Byron and Meatloaf theirs. And that's no fault of Manscaped's, by the way. They did send them. Byron just happened to have moved before his got there because of some holdups and some negotiating, some things, whatever.
I gave the right address, but it wasn't to them. It was to someone. Whatever. I'm not getting into it. I'm very everything.
Kevin is back on the wall of shame.
Wow. Look, there was a couple 3 middlemen involved, but regardless, look, Manscaped has come on board. They seem to be very happy with us, and I am very, very happy with them. So I want to talk about, look, the Lawnmower 3.0 is the thing that I really want to focus on, because like this is the centerpiece of the Manscaped world. Like, if you're going to shave your nuts, if you're going to shave your body hair, if you're going to shave your butt, this is the tool for it. There's the guide light, there's the advanced skin safe technology. The thing is smooth as just go with me.
Yeah, it's like if you used a lightsaber. Yeah.
I don't know if a lightsaber would be as effective.
No, it's better than a lightsaber, which as a huge Star Wars fan as I am, I would not give that kind of praise lightly.
All right. Well, and there's also the Weed Whacker, which I know Goatse is using, right? That's the one he got.
Me too.
Ears and nose trimmer. Same skin safe technology.
He got paid.
So
I like how the show started, where we were waiting in line all morning, all day at Lucha Underground, and we just talked wrestling all the time, Lucha all the time. We decided, let's just record it, and then our other friends in line would listen to it, and then we would talk about all the stuff while we're waiting in line all day, and it was a lot of fun. And somehow it grew into this thing where now we're talking with strangers about how closely shaved their balls and AHs are.
But wasn't that, but honestly, wasn't that where this was
people.
Always headed? Wasn't that always the actual goal here, Byron, was to talk about Lucha Underground enough that it made sense for people to have to hear us talk about shaving our balls?
Well, wrestling is
always talking about
if
Brian
you go
Cage's
back,
package.
if you go back and listen to every single episode since we've started back, which I was against, by the way. I mentioned getting that sponsorship in every single episode, and now we have it. So I have nothing left to do. I quit. Goodbye, gentlemen.
Right. Sometimes you just, by will alone, I put my mind in motion. How's that Dune thing go? It doesn't matter.
I will admit to your point.
That's Byron said.
Wrestling is a scrum-based entertainment thing. So yeah.
Scrotum based. Is that the word you used?
Look, okay. I'm just going to say this. My own personal experience, which Manscaped loves to hear about, it's people's own personal experiences. I am not bat-winging right now because I am using the crop preserver, period. Yeah. It's that simple.
Same. It's
the
a
crop preserver
day.
Is ball deodorant, but it's more than just keeping them smelling fresh and nice. It's the fact that it, honest to God, keeps them from clinging to my legs. It's that it's simple. I'm not trying to be gross. It works.
Yeah, it's a warm day here in SoCal, and I have my window open, and everything's good. Everything's good.
When you get to our ages, skin gets saggier.
Yeah, and stuff starts to cling and stick, and and Casey, if it's hot there, don't forget you got the crop mop wipes. You can always just kind of do a little whoop, 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 dust it up.
I'm not trying to impress anyone. I'm just sitting here, dude.
It's gonna help you out during those parent teacher conferences.
Yeah.
Terrible.
Look, so moral of the story is these are all vegan, cruelty-free, dye-free, sulfate-free, paraben-free. So your manhood's in good hands. If you act right now and use code MMM at manscaped.com, you can get 20% off and free shipping at manscaped.com with code MMM. Make sure your balls are a priority this fall and winter.
And bro, free shipping, that's like a big deal these days because that is a lot of money. I don't know how many of you have been ordering things. I tend to order a few t-shirts from now, every now and then. And
every week.
Shipping's getting expensive.
Yeah, shipping can be a real kick in the balls, but hopefully not a sticky one if you're using all the right products.
Yeah, but if you use code MMM, we actually take the shipping costs out of Byron's pay for this episode.
I do want to make the point that since COVID and the quarantine and everything that we've all been going through, we will be getting back eventually, if not sooner to getting to be with other people more.
Byron, just spit it out. Pretty soon you're going to need to clean your balls up for a date.
Yeah, Justin. Okay. See, this is the thing, Justin. He can't do the docking with you if his is out of whack.
Here's the thing, though. Like you're like, I'm just assuming. Let's just assume a listener I'm speaking to now is a male person, cis male person listening to this podcast.
Oh, you mean like they work for the United States Postal Service? They're a male person.
So then eventually you're going to actually go on a date with a nice cis female who hasn't seen
man of your choice.
Who hasn't seen or smelled male genitalia since March, theoretically. So you want to have a good impression. It's been a long time. Be nice and just put some nice powder on your balls. Okay.
I feel like your strategy's off. I do like as terms of an advertisement what you're saying, but I feel like any port in a storm is more a solid strategy for you right now.
Well, imagine you haven't seen a fucking.
He looks like a sailor.
You haven't seen a crotch in person up close since March. You're gonna forget a lot of stuff, and then your first impression is gonna be swamp ass.
But then you'll forget that they're not all like that, and then you'll just be like, that's pretty normal.
But also just all the suffering that we've been through for so long, staying away from just all the things we're sacrificing, trying to get through this deadly virus that blah, 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 blah. It's just be fucking nice and respectful to other people. Shave your fucking balls, shave your fucking taint and your AHs. If you want to play in that area, then you want to clean the field. You know what I mean? And put the fucking nice smelling stuff on it. Be nice to other human beings.
It's 2020 now, Grandpa.
That nice smelling stuff. That's crop preserver. That's crop cleanser, body wash, crop preserver to keep them all neat, lawnmower to get it done, weed whacker for your nose hairs. Get it all taken
This is exactly what I pictured when I was trying to get this sponsorship this whole time.
Well, and you knew we were headed here at some point. And so look, it's available in the United States, Australia, the UK, and even our great cousins up there in the great 51st state of Canada. So please act today. Code MMM, 20% off, free shipping. I'm going to talk about Lucha Underground. I want to talk about this Vampiro Vampira Canadian. Is that what his name? Canadian bacon vampire guy. He does an interview with Johnny Mundo.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie. Like when I watched this, I was pretty heavily sorting some Garbage Pail Kids, so I'm not really completely like into this segment. But I thought he didn't like Alberto so much in real life that he was way too nice to Johnny here.
Okay, but they got in the one and only important dig that needed to happen, which was Mundo references slapping somebody at the catering table, which if you don't know the story is part of what Alberto got fired for in the first place. He slapped Cody Barbieri, who made a comment to somebody else. Somebody said, hey, let's clean off these tables. And then this guy said, no, that's Alberto's job, implying that it should be Mexicans who are cleaning up the table. So Alberto from the other side of the room gets up, walks over and slaps the taste out of dude's mouth. Vince pulls him aside and says, right. But Vince pulls Alberto aside and says to him like, hey pal, I get it. Like, I get it. I would have probably done that too, but you shouldn't have done that, but it's fine. You'll be fine. Then Triple H calls him up the next day like, that's not going to really work for us. That wasn't very cool. You're suspended. And then he gets a call after that he's not coming back at all.
We can't have you slapping people.
Well, they were doing a thing where like someone acts up, but it's not really their fault, but it's against someone who invests a lot of money.
Hey, pal, we got an HR now, pal.
What they do is
I honestly believe Vince would have let it go. I think Vince would have let it stand and been like, whatever. But, you know, the social media guy mouthed off some racist shit and he got slapped for it. That's the old way that things get handled. But look, WWE is a public company and physical attacks on people, especially who are not other wrestlers, are never going to be taken kindly to. And this guy did step out of line, and Alberto put him in his
you
place.
most definitely should always
And
slap them.
there's precedence. He fired Coco for this, so there's precedence. Like it had happened before, and there's been a thing. Yeah.
I also think because they've done this before, and they also brought him back. They're like, okay, so we have to fire you now. Keep your nose clean.
They brought Coco back too.
And
that was well timed, Casey.
Anyway, we can move on. That's the story behind that. I like the little dig getting in there. Other than that, you had to have been really scared in the writers' meeting when somebody said, like, hey, we're going to do a Vampiro interviewing Mundo segment. And everybody was probably like, ugh.
Well, and here's
VR?
what I saw in this interview. I saw Vampiro in the segment trying to produce a personality out of Johnny Mundo. And I don't mean that as an insult or anything. I just mean in this stage where he was at, and in this stage where he was at in Lucha Underground, also fresh off of a heel turn. He's building character and personality. And so, like, he was pushing a bunch, trying to get a fire out of him on camera in this out-of-ring segment.
But that's just never going to be his character. That's not the guy that he is.
He's got the RVD easygoing kind of thing.
But he has his own type of fire that he found later.
Oh, he found the rhythm later. And they had to do this to follow up putting a guy through a window. I mean, they have to try to see if they can do the fired up thing. And it's serviceable. It's serviceable. It didn't need to be any more than this. It was fine that it was in here. It's nothing that anyone's ever going to rave about, but it pushes the storyline where it needs to go for right now. This next vignette I love also. Dario talking to the crew. This is the first time any type of sacrifice is ever mentioned. Dario actually describes sacrifices to the Aztec gods and people getting thrown down the steps of temples and all sorts of fun stuff, and good imagery of what it means to sacrifice someone, and that he wants the crew to do that to the unlikely trio. So it makes it a good vignette.
Or if they don't, they get sacrificed instead.
Correct. Which is awesome. So we're introducing that. And he says sacrificed to my brother, by the way. Right. Yeah. So that's a good little,
like he went from not talking about his brother to never shutting the fuck up about him. I'm just saying.
Yeah. This next match, I've just one word, sad. Golden Warrior Davari versus Tejano. Look,
dude,
Tejano was good, but this is like so sad to me. This guy was the AAA mega champion like 2 or 3 months before.
I figured out the way I could explain how they should have booked Tejano that they didn't. Okay. Mexican Dusty Rhodes.
Oh yeah.
Like book him exactly like, I don't mean polka dot Dusty. I mean like Bull of the Woods Dusty, NWA Dusty, and you book Tejano like that. Cause like we were giving like Stone Cold analogies, things like that, and they weren't quite right. I think a Dusty Rhodes thing would have worked good for him. Where they did try to hit that he's a common man and that Davari's a rich guy and he's a bad guy and all that. But then,
which was good.
2 seconds into the match, crowd was dead immediately. Too dead to even make this jokes.
But what could save that crowd being dead? How about we take a bona fide superstar like Big Rick and have him do a run in? Oh
God. Yeah.
Here's something that I saw on this on a different sort of level. It's Tejano, who everyone wants to see do a lucha brawl and be a lucha badass, and then you have, take it easy, but you have Davari doing just boring WWE stuff, and then you have even more, and he's not.
Wait, first of all, let's not even put down the WWE like that, because I'm pretty sure most WWE superstars can do an enziguri that lands above the kidneys.
That was
yeah.
He started like they were about to call it enziguri, like, and
they couldn't even call it that. I mean, it was all the motions of an enziguri, but he hit him below the kidneys.
Enziguri literally means kick to the head, so you can't call it an enziguri.
It's kick to the back of the head in Kamaguri, right?
Well,
it's
still, yes. But fine, Japanese expert Byron.
Oh God, New Japan's going to come in now.
But you hear the announcers just kind of give it a trademark Jim Ross oof. Like,
I can't even talk about it anymore. I can't even talk about it. Run in, DQ, whatever. Moving on. Vignette 2A.
they had a guy doing WWE style where people didn't want it, and then they had a WWE run in to save the match, and it's just like
this is dismal. So back to the vignettes, back to the stuff that Lucha Underground does really well. Dario gets poked. Katrina pokes Dario,
teasing the whole direction for the series for months, and we don't even know that yet.
No, and this segment was good. There's some weird teleporting thing. You can't tell if they're just doing a camera thing, but this is definitely her teleporting in and out of the scene several times, poking Dario.
For those of you that haven't seen the show though and heard the word deathmatch and get excited, don't.
I did.
This was
even again, I was duped.
Yeah, this is before they had cool deathmatch stuff. You got to wait until Ultima Lucha for that. So just don't get too excited by the words deathmatch here. I'm sorry.
But Katrina says, like if it's a sacrifice you want, Mil Muertes will deliver. Also alluding to the fact that she has been watching him because she used his term from a segment she was not in. So
no, and she's already told him she knows about his brother and shit too. So it's like, all right.
And she touches him a lot, and it ends the segment with Dario biting his hand because clearly he either liked the sound of the word sacrifice or he liked being poked or something. He liked something about what went on here.
She's talking.
What Justin's saying is he kind of, he needed some of those crop mops. He needed the crop mop wipes, is what you're saying.
Yes. Yeah. Well, you get to Dario's ear and you start whispering sweet nothings about endless violence, and what do you expect?
It's kind of exactly what Matanza does.
And the way Katrina leaned on the chair too was classic Katrina all day long.
All right.
It was.
Let's move on before we all get one.
Okay, I will do that. So, not to be outdone by there being a vignette here, let's do another vignette. Vignette 2B. Lotus is walking all the way back to the temple from an undisclosed location.
Jesus Christ.
And she says she wants to kill the brother of Dario. She says
fuck this segment, you guys. This segment.
I like it. I like how that's
Chavo shoehorned into this angle in the shittiest way possible. I absolutely hated that part of it.
It was weird, but also like, what do you expect? He's a producer of the show and he's not wrestling.
Yeah, and so basically Chavo says, like, if you help me with my problems with Mexico, I will protect Lotus because obviously Dragon Aztec.
Which is basically like, we don't know if we're getting Blue Demon back, so we got to kill this angle. And,
so this was the most Drago looking that Drago has ever been, right? The mask was super duper loose, and it's like I don't know. All of his face.
He's not doing the blocks though. That was a lot more Drago.
Maybe. I don't know, but it was pretty.
You can see the fantastic eyelashes.
If you ever had any question, this was the one that was clearly like, okay, yeah. This was where I realized, they wrote off his other character to become this character. That's what I thought at the time, which made me very happy when my first Lucha Underground that I ever went to in person was actually the return.
Which is next week's episode.
I thought that he was gone. Now, so was this one taped at the same time? Was I at this one? I don't know.
No, you were at the one after. So next week's show is when we started going as a group.
So it'll be the next 2 episodes will probably be the ones that I was at then.
Absolutely. So we got the Phoenix death match. We got Drago coming back in one of these also. And So
this starts the run of the time when somebody from the show was typically at most of these tapings. So
but not me, Flo.
So we hit a commercial break, and not to be outdone by the 2 vignettes that came before the commercial break, there's another vignette before we get back to wrestling, because after that middle match, they just figured, why should we even bother doing wrestling of any kind anymore? Because that was horrible.
I'm completely soured on wrestling at this point.
So, that was the conclusion of the Chavo thing, and the Guerreros are all liars and Drago's awesome voice, but whatever.
We need to bring up how they're dubbing his voice, right? Which is super cool with like
it's so funny because he's clearly speaking Spanish in the vignette, and that's just
they're dubbing his voice with a voice that's still hard to understand, which is
yeah, that's fine, but also I don't know what he's even speaking Spanish. I think he's just kind of just
Skip was like, yeah, the script didn't come in on time. Let's just shoot it anyway. And then EV-Dub can figure it out in post.
Yeah, they're like, just Drago, just be a Muppet for this scene.
It was a little strange, but whatever. It was entertaining.
You show up and you look at the actors like, what do you think you'll say right now?
And then we cut to a close-up shot of Mil Machetes, Kitty, and CJ De Niro, who are sitting right behind Vampiro and Stryker and mugging for the cameras, not even realizing it. This was before people knew how to act when they were behind the announcers, but also anybody who was smart realized you don't want to sit behind the announcers because it's kind of a job. It's like real work.
Kevin Gill,
plus Vampiro's a tall dude. Vampiro's a tall dude, and it's kind of hard to sit behind him if you're not a tall dude. I never had that problem.
And later too, like he jumps up a lot, and then also when you start sitting back there in seasons 2, 3, and 4, Vamp will turn around and direct you and make you do things and be amped up like all the time when the camera's over that way. So it's a job, and they tape those segments several times sometimes. So I am thankful that I have never sat over there, but Mil Machetes and his crew were over there this particular time. Anyway, trios ladder match. Unlikely trio wins, and that's it.
Yeah, that's it.
No, hold on, guys. I think we're skipping over a really important part of the match. Ivelise's pants.
Well, there's a reason for those particular pants. Her other ring gear would not go over the cast, so she had to use stretchy yoga pants.
Yeah. Look at Byron.
I mean, there's a reson for it.
Dirty bastard, Byron.
Well, I'm a big fan of her, so I think she did
objectifying a female when she's doing her job.
She did great in
while she's doing her job. Do you do this at the grocery store, Byron?
Hey, I bet he does. He goes into the local Walmart.
He's like, I really like how that blue vest fits.
I need to go back into the DM and read all the stuff you write, Meatloaf, about objectifying women and objects.
Jesus Christ. The DM is private.
Wow, man.
Yes, look at the sellout. So
that's why I can make up whatever is in there, because you guys can't prove it isn't.
That's amazingly awful. I hope you're not expecting me to save either of you, right? I already said everything I'm going to say about this match. Like Angelico does the thing, jumps off the top.
There was like a drop kicker. There was like a drop kick or something. There was a drop kick.
No, there were some good spots.
There was. I mean, legitimately, Ivelise was freshly injured, and so they did a good way of keeping her in the match and having her get the finish at the end.
Look, what's cool is they weren't trying to hide that she was injured, so they were able to play it into the match in a way that was interesting too, which is
correct.
Kind of cool.
The bad thing about it is that it meant that Son of Havoc had to anchor a lot of the match, and he wasn't terrible. Much. He was, but it was too much. I like the fact that they ran up the stairs to start up top, so it got Evie not having to watch her walk to the ring for 4 minutes to get down the steps. She had plenty of time. And then as soon as she gets to the bottom of the steps, Bale cold cocks her. And then she's out. That was the best to me. When he just runs
that
up.
was actually hilarious.
That was awesome. But and he did it perfectly and sold. And you see her smiling on the ground because she knew how good it was. It was hilarious.
But then also Angelico took a shirt off, which is a very pivotal moment in the match.
For the female viewers of the crowd, they certainly
a male professional wrestler whilst he's doing his job. What is wrong with you, Byron?
God, Byron, do you do this at McDonald's?
At the drive-thru? You look so good in that window, baby. You know?
I really like how that visor fits.
I like it when you do the robot voice.
One of my favorite things about this match is that the prop department insisted on having dirty ladders that looked like they were from Boyle Heights. This is the stuff that Lucha Underground started doing, paying attention to detail. Like, no, we're doing a ladder match in Boyle Heights. We're not going to paint them colors and blah, blah, blah. We're not going to have these shiny, crispy, brand new ladders.
I got to shout out to Kevin Kleinrock, the true creator of Lucha Underground, because Wrestling Society X had a blinged out ladder that was 1,000,000 times cooler. And we need to give that props to Kevin Kleinrock, true creator of Lucha Underground. You're welcome. You're welcome on the show anytime, Kevin, but you have to wear the Cobra Commander helmet.
We should get him back soon.
So I don't know if we should talk about Kevin's Cobra Commander helmet. I don't know if that's appropriate.
We should tell him. We should get him on the show to tell us when our
so Byron can objectify him in his helmet.
Yeah, Kevin, where are our Lucha Bros?
So I also thought that they did a good job, and I thought everyone looked great in this match, but they did a good job of, we even know what happened, but they teased Angelico doing a table spot off the top of the office. That's what you all think is going to happen.
Well, look, I know, but I didn't, because what should have happened is they should have moved the tables first. They should have made it look like a more obvious spot and then not done it, because the tables were still way too far away.
He could have made it.
Yeah. No, it's kind of like the
obvious.
cage matches where someone's gonna never fall outside of the cage.
But I will say the spot looked great. He does the run and he hits the drop kick perfectly to the ladder. I mean, he doesn't hit the ladder at all. He does it totally safe. It looked great.
Hold on. You say totally safe. He dislocated Ricky Reyes' shoulder. You could see him, like he said it too later on.
What's not safe about that?
But then
Ricky Reyes.
It was totally safe to everyone that matters.
And that's me. We did, by the way, listeners of the show who are
Ricky's a tough guy. He can take it.
Yeah, I know. He was so excited. He wasn't complaining. It was a great spot for everyone, but especially, could you imagine being one of the guys on the crew who didn't get to do this spot, which was like the main gif of Lucha Underground?
He's Craig Elo. He's the guy on the opposite side of Michael Jordan's shot. Yes.
Yeah. But
Ricky Reyes is the Craig Elo of Lucha Underground.
But EV-Dub, I think this is. I
don't understand sports references.
This is the stunt that EV-Dub shared behind the scenes footage of, because they had to show with the crash pad that it's safe and doable to get it insured as a TV show to be able to do the stunt on the TV show. And so everyone in Angelico, Puma, were taking turns just running and jumping into the ring onto the crash pad. It was a lot of fun. We should like retweet that again, maybe.
Sure.
Cool story.
Put it on a fleet.
we should make sure people's faces aren't fucking showing this time. You know what I'm saying?
It was blurred that time. We gave EV-Dub shit over it because we're like, Justin's like, okay, first question. You didn't actually blur that video, did you? You sent it to someone.
Oh yeah, he sent it out to be blurred because it was a very intentional post. People were like, "Oh yeah, EV-Dub was just scrolling through his phone and posted some stuff." Yeah, with a really digitally correct blurring job done on all the mask performers. No, I don't think so. He sent it to his editors, had them send it back, and then he posted it. Like he was very clearly and deliberately posting some BTS. Anyway,
if you want to watch what Pentagon looks like, just watch AEW.
Yeah, really. Jesus, the mask ripping.
They rip masks all the time.
So this episode may have been 50-50 at best. It may have been, but it set up something very, very important. And that very important thing is it set up us being in the audience. And
yeah, there you
next
go.
Week,
transitional episode.
Next week and every episode after this, at least one of us is at every single taping of Lucha Underground. It might not be all of us. It might not even be some of us. Sometimes it might just be one of us.
Yeah. And for the first season, probably Casey was the one that was there the most.
Right.
I think.
Yeah.
Right. I know there was at least one that I was there by myself, but this is where the magic happens.
This is where it all started.
Yeah. I wonder where how we could find all those gifts, because when the show was on, the show was doing gifts, but then like Lucha Blog and others were gifting the show. And I'm sorry for forgetting the names of the others, but other people, if I forget,
people that aren't Yoni and Yoni.
Yeah,
Yoni was so great.
But like people,
Yoni rules.
People would tweet also us, or they would tweet other fans because they used so many cutaways of the fans that were going nuts, and it was awesome.
Oh man, my favorite was the one, that post I found of the guy bitching that they keep showing TJ Miller in the crowd, and they're like, "We get it, you have famous fans," and I'm like,
"That's Byron. TJ Miller never went to Lucha Underground. That's the best."
That was a comment on like a 401 Mania.
And everyone thought that you really were TJ Miller the whole time.
Talking to Brandon, I've already brought this up before, but talking to camera guy Brandon, he said like the director would tell him, get a close up of that TJ Miller looking motherfucker.
That's amazing. Anyway, we got to take another quick break. I want to come back and I want to talk a little bit about some AEW stuff, especially our homegirl Thunder Rosa, who had another shot at her belt. And I also want to talk very quickly about Heroes of Lucha Libre. So we'll be back right after this.
If you're listening to this and you haven't visited luchacentral.com, it's time to do it. LuchaCentral.com is the online home for Lucha Libre, where you can get all of the top news in English and in Spanish. Find the best curated video content and original content not seen anywhere else. Find when Lucha Libre events would be happening in your area. Find photo galleries from top photographers covering Lucha Libre around the world. From weekly polls to annual awards. Seen and read by top executives in all of the major Lucha Libre promotions across the globe. And on top of that, it's free. LuchaCentral.com, your centralized place for all things Lucha Libre.
And
there's a lot of money put into wrestling fixins too, and now they're on AEW.
So let's talk about it now that we're back. Byron, let's talk about Heroes of Lucha Libre.
Yeah.
I think it looks like shit, you guys. I'm just going to be real. This looks dumb. This looks like someone trying to cash in on Lucha Libre and Mexican heritage without really knowing how to do it well. And it looks like it's going to suck, but it has some big names attached to it.
What big names are attached, Case? Do you know who's in this
so
thing?
we got a lot of Masked Republic people actually, which makes me more interested in it. It has Rey Mysterio's involved. I think they said Mil Mascaras is involved, which it's like, whoa, he's ancient. I think that they said Tinieblas Senior is in it, not Junior. So. And yeah, I'm blanking on some of the other ones. I read the press release, thought this looks kind of dumb, and then just because they're like, oh, it's a scripted superhero world, but they're still wrestling, and we want to do live shows, which is code for fuck you, Lucha Underground. You should have done live shows. And yeah, there's like this whole thing. It sounds weird. It sounds dumb. Crackle's free, so at least you'll be able to see it for free.
Right. So now this stuff that they already have in the can, this was done a while ago, right? Before Ray's
like
current
17, 18, I think.
I think this was done like
Ray's
3+ years ago.
Right when Ray left Lucha Underground, right?
Yeah,
so
I want to say
period
4 years ago.
Yeah. So that also begs the question, new content that they do. It's weird that it's not reassuring that something this old is now making air. So like,
it's not reassuring that half of the wrestlers they announced are 200 years old and can't wrestle anymore.
So,
well, it's not reassuring to me that they want to do superhero like stuff like, old Mexican movies, except they're doing it on Crackle, which can't possibly have a budget to maintain, like the Lucha Underground level of production.
I haven't watched Crackle since they lost the rights to American Movie, which it used to be the only place it was streaming, and that's like the greatest documentary ever made. So.
Absolutely.
Well, I don't even know if they lost the rights because Crackle is Sony, and it probably just means they sold the rights somewhere else. They put stuff that they're not making money on Crackle, kind of like the old cutouts for records back in the day. The Sin.
We should invite Mike Shank onto the show. I wonder if he likes wrestling. He seems like he would like wrestling, right?
I'll send him the link right now.
All right. Anyway, I just thought it was interesting. It's out there in the world. I'm sure I'll check it out and give it either a thumbs up or a thumbs down pretty immediately. I don't know when it debuts, but it's sometime soon.
I saw Famous.
Belushi's not on it. It's going to be bad.
Famous B is on it. Yeah, Famous B's on it.
I think it looked kind of cool. I think it looked fun. They pumped a lot of money into it. I'm excited to see it.
I think they might have said Cholo's on it.
I'm pretty sure.
There's like good people involved.
Yeah, so like I'm sure it's going to be cool, but also like what's the plan? What's new content? You're selling Rey Mysterio as a top star on it, as you should, but there's no way you're ever going to get him on any new footage, for the show.
Yeah, he's going to have two eyes the whole time too.
That's so weird. It's creepy when they have two eyes.
Is he only one-eyed now on the show? They couldn't put it back in?
Hey,
Dude,
at least he's got a reason for being
one.
one-eyed. Have we ever figured out why Pentagon is one-eyed these days?
So he could
because he's a fan of TLC, bro. He's keeping one out for Lisa.
It is the left eye. God, she was.
I feel like do Pentagon and Ray have the same mask maker? Because it's always the opposite eye of Ray, and maybe the mask maker is just like, well, I've got this extra piece around. Let me just put it on Penta's new mask.
Pentagon's got about 3 or 4.
I don't know. I just don't get it. I'm like, Penta, what is this?
Varying
is it a shout out
degrees
to
of
Ray?
quality.
Is it?
Yeah,
Anyway.
they're very different. If you get calories the best, and usually you Ninoko.
So here's my question. Since we're talking about Penta, Death Triangle is back, kind of, after this week's AEW Dynamite.
No, absolutely. It's not kind of. That is.
I don't know, man.
absolutely-
I feel like this is a double swerve. I feel like this is a double swerve, and Pentagon is going to turn on Phoenix and Pac and go back to Eddie, and probably very quickly. I don't think that this is going to last very long.
Nah, dude, you don't realize how uncreative that the AEW booking is, and they finally got 3-on-3, so they're going to keep it that way.
Okay, well,
And they're
I may
gonna
not
do anything
realize it,
interesting and different.
but
Would it be a tag match?
Chris Jericho at least realizes it, because he was all over keeping it 100 this week, talking about how maybe our writing isn't great. And I keep trying to tell these guys in the meetings, like, let's have a beginning, middle, and end. Let's have a storyline. And Jericho exposed the business, basically saying that, like, look, this really is a wrestling company by wrestlers for wrestlers, because I write my stuff. Like MJF came up with a couple things, but like I come up with my feud, my storyline. It goes for 10, 12 weeks, and then we go on to the next one. And basically all the top guys are just writing their storylines. So if you're not in one of the top guys' storylines, you're not getting pulled into something big on Dynamite, which means don't ever expect to see a big run for Angelico or Jack or Penta and Phoenix. It's
Nah,
like,
see what Jack and Angelico need to do is go into business for themselves and start shit talking the Young Bucks on social media and how they're a better team. So then they get booked in a feud with the Young Bucks, like the only reason the Revival got hired.
And it will last for 10 or 12 weeks while the Young Bucks write the storyline and put those guys into it, but they're never going to get. This is the weird thing about AEW. If you're not one of the top guys, you don't get to write your storyline. And Jericho basically said that.
The friends. One thing we weren't worried about coming into this company.
But I think that they also definitely pay attention to numbers, and they pay attention to merch, which is how Best Friends and Orange Cassidy are getting their airtime. But I respect that about them, and I don't expect AEW to be 100% about everything. And I enjoy the show, so of course they make errors and they recognize them. Like I totally get Jericho, talking to them about how the wording that they use and how wording is so important, how they're doing, will MJF join Inner Circle? And then they're doing the next angle, the very next segment. Will someone else join? They're using join again. And he's like, listen, and he's not saying, don't do that angle. Don't use the word that we put on. That's the catch.
And don't put those segments back to back either.
Yes.
It's stupid. And he's right.
Yes. Will someone join the Dark Order? Will someone join the Inner Circle? Will someone join Private Party? I don't know. Look, man.
Street Profits.
Use different words, and they're not the same as Street Profits. And
they're Street Party Privates.
And
Street Party Profit Privates.
But John Moxley also talked about a little bit of behind the scenes stuff, how they were he was talking about how the original plan was to try and get a little bit more out of the Archer angle and get another match out of them. And then he's like, he had that match with Eddie, and then Eddie comes out the next day and says, I never tapped out. And he's like, oh yeah, he didn't tap out. We got to do
that's the angle.
We got to do an I Quit match. So, okay, let's do 4 weeks of promos. We have a pay-per-view match. And so the Eddie took the spot from Archer. And that's
great
to do.
I don't mind that. I don't have any problem with that. That's
Are you paying attention, Jack and Angelico? Thank you.
Yes, like they're getting airtime now and they're doing okay, but they need to take it to the next.
It really means, like, if somebody hands you the stick at AEW, you better cut fire promos and go into business a little bit. Like, you don't have to step out of line, but go into business, make a comment, say something, because that's basically how storylines are getting written over at that place right now. Put yourself into an angle if you can.
That's wrestling, though.
I think they're getting written in crayon, aren't they?
Yeah. Speaking of private people's parties, street profiting, Top Flight, JR's new favorite brother team.
Dude, they're good, dude.
Oh my God. They were so good.
They did not look nervous at all. They looked primed and ready to go. It was awesome.
Hell yeah, dude.
Those dudes, like, literally couldn't have a drink legally 3 weeks ago. They're like literally 21 years old, I think.
Yeah.
I mean, those are some young, fresh-faced, brand new kids on the block, and more power to them. I thought they were great. I thought they had a good look. They knew what they were doing. They were safe. Their moveset was awesome. You know, they had charisma on camera. They had energy. They did not look nervous. Look, they had the best team in the world to face, but I know a lot of other teams that could have been in that same spot and not done as well.
But there's also the in-ring stuff. There's also like what you saw with the package, and they were on Dark a few times too. They have characters, which doesn't mean they're fake characters, but they're characters that you understand where they came from, you understand what it means to them, and you can wrap your head around it and root for them because of that, which I think places them way ahead of where Private Party started in AEW.
Yeah. I don't know.
But Private Party also started by beating the Young Bucks as soon as they were signed, so they were a little ahead there.
But they needed
that
to distinguish them as opposed to personalities and characters. They're working on those, which is great. They're awesome. I love Private Party. Top Flight, though, you know what they're about. You know what it means to them. And that means they also don't need the win so much.
Okay, but let me ask you this. When is the next time you see Top Flight on Dynamite? It's going to be 6-7 weeks?
No, I say you get them right away. You have them. They've earned the Bucks respect. They've earned the Bucks respect now, so that builds them automatically for some matches with the Revival that hate the Young Bucks and hate the style that they stand for. And you probably end up having the Revival kill them a little bit to try to piss off the Young Bucks. But I say you do a little thing different that the Young Bucks don't give a shit.
That would be awesome too. Like, you guys got your way up here. You were pretty good against us. Take your lumps, kids. I think that would be great, but I have a scary feeling that they'll get relegated back down to Dark and do a ton of matches there, and we won't see them on the big show for 6 or 7 weeks.
Oh no, I mean, let's be real. That's what's going to happen because it's AEW, but still. Right.
But that's not what should happen. All right, so I want to talk a little bit about the Vegas thing. Obviously, this is leading somewhere with the tension inside the inner circle, but
good. Get Ortiz and Santana out of there. Please.
Okay, so this goes into what we were saying earlier about Jericho, beginning, middle, end. There's so much about AEW storytelling in these vignettes. And I tweeted about this and the Darby one, and I'm just not going to touch Darby. I think I'm not on the same wavelength of him, but it works for him. He does his own weird thing, and it's just weird, and it works. But this is a beginning.
Byron, he's everyone we went to film school with. How is he not resonating with you?
No, he resonates with me, but he doesn't do beginning, middle, ends. But somehow, whatever he does.
But I don't think he was in a position, just like we found out is in the case in AEW. I don't think he was in a position to book his storylines yet. I think he is now, so we'll see what he does with it.
Yeah, and he's doing. But even without the ends, his vignettes are cool and at least interesting, engaging. But this, to me, the Vegas thing is the beginning and middle. There's no end. None of the payoffs have to do with anything in the storyline. Elvis is cool. You got a cool graphic. You got the tweet. Great. Swago got a payday, hopefully.
I'm sure they kicked him a little chunk of change, whatever.
Little chunk.
Oh, I didn't even mean it that way.
Objectifying.
Little people. There's the 3-banger. Nice callback.
Waiting for it. Yeah, so to me, I just it was cool. I got the jokes. Great. What's it matter?
It matters because friend of the show, Conan, got on AEW this week.
Yes.
That's why it matters. I mean, let's just be honest. It's all about us.
And I think it's pretty funny that Glenn didn't in Vegas.
Glenn? Who's Glenn?
They couldn't show where they met up with Glenn.
Oh, that's true. That's true. There's a little issue there. Yeah.
I like the fact that somehow in the middle of a Vegas segment, they managed to drive all the way to Iran and back.
Yeah. Oh my God. That was my biggest pop of the whole show. One, when Conan popped up and then two, when they probably told him 1,000 times, don't look at the camera and say boom. You can't do that. That's going to fuck it up. And then he does it anyway. And they try and cut it out.
It's amazing. All right.
But to Casey's point earlier, and Casey, maybe you want to get into this. To me, this whole thing is an LAX a reunion foreshadowing. That's
Yeah,
what
I mean,
I'm hoping for.
I don't care if it's a reunion. I just want Proud and Powerful to be their own team because I feel like they're barely getting any time and they're barely getting to do anything since the parking lot brawl, which was awesome. But what's next? Nothing, because AEW never thinks ahead.
Yeah.
So,
and
them
versus the Lucha Brothers was literally one of the greatest tag team matches that I've ever seen in person live.
Yeah,
right.
Mhm.
those guys can go, and I think that's a good way to go if they can make it happen. And also, Swagger's done with his MMA fight now, so he's excited about doing more in-ring stuff. So
and I think we
him as
need
the
to
heat for Inner Circle now, and they don't need
Less Swagger.
LAX anymore.
We need to
His president's
reiterate
lost. He's
that
leaving the country, isn't
Ortiz from Proud and Powerful is probably top 5 guy on the roster, and people are just sleeping on him because he is the greatest at everything that he does, and dude is amazing.
He's good, but he also has a character. He has just a little bit of the promos he's done about his father. Like I think even JR mentioned it. Like he couldn't hold back. Like this guy is a top babyface. How good?
Remember when he turned into Salamanca in the wheelchair when he got electrocuted? That was
So
amazing.
dope. That was great.
Yeah.
So
That's the other thing about seeing him live. The little things he does, like the comedy he
bell.
puts in to the just fantastic live.
So if it were me, if I were to fantasy book this, I would say Proud and Powerful. They could keep their name, but I would love to see them with Conan, and I would love to see Diamante and even Ivelise team up with them. I don't know if he had a fifth.
You might as well. They're not doing anything else with those.
Nah,
ladies right
dude,
now.
I say Ditch Butcher and the Blade, Eddie Kingston, and
Oh, and
Proud
Eddie.
and Powerful.
Yeah, especially if you can't bring in Conan full time.
Right.
And I don't know if you could. Maybe you could have him play a little bit of an overlord character, phone a few bits in. That would be fun for TV and stuff. But I don't know if you'd want to do it regularly.
I feel like AEW's at the point now where they have too many groups that they need to shake them up because they've been the same groups. Adding members isn't shaking up a group.
No,
Losing
they also
members
need,
shakes
they
up
also
a
need to
group.
have the right groups. Some of these groups are working and some of them aren't.
It's like
Remember when they
watch
just
WCW.
added 10 people? Yeah, 10 people to the
They never watched
NWO.
the
every week.
NWO.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and I get at the beginning.
It's going for now.
I get at the beginning, Inner Circle, you're building a group and like, okay, so Jericho wants his tag team to get the tag team belts. He's going to try and get the heavyweight belt. He's going to want an up and comer. He wanted MJF, but then he got Sammy. So that's another thing. And then you need your heater too, right? So I get that. But like now the dynamic is changing and that group also can serve a different role in the show too. Especially with you have Dark Order that could carry a show, but they're still sort of mid-cardish. But then you have Team Taz beginning to take over the main event slot on Dynamite. So Inner Circle has they have different needs that they need to fill.
Yeah, comic relief.
I
And
feel like
solid
the new order,
matches.
So
the Dark Order reminds me of the oddities
A little bit.
from
Oh,
WWE. Yeah, that would be better, to be honest with you, if
well,
they started
if you
doing
ain't
shit like
down
that.
with those sideshow freaks, I'm going to whip smack your cheeks. Okay, what is the next?
okay, John
Thunder
Tento-
Rosa, Serena Deeb. This match was good.
No, Justin, you got to say what you really thought about this match.
Okay,
No.
I'll say what I really thought. I thought that the match on Dark that Thunder Rosa had was better than this particular match. But,
Okay, that's what I was trying to get him to say.
but I also think that this is wonderful wrestling storytelling. Brit Baker and Thunder Rosa, we've said it for weeks, is the money feud in women's wrestling right now.
Yeah.
I don't care what you think about
Yeah.
Brit Baker's in-ring skills. I don't even think it matters. If they can do
No, it
enough
doesn't.
with these two out of the ring and then
Mhm.
back it up a little bit in the ring, and I think that Thunder Rosa is actually at a point in her career where she can carry Brit, where she's going to make Brit better.
Yeah.
I think
she already
I
has.
think she carried Serena through this match. And I think that the things that were soft about this match were not Thunder Rosa. I think
No.
Serena has looked great in previous weeks, but Mel was calling most of the match and she really knew what was going on there. I think it needed to be a little bit of a slower pace. I think she did it right. And they're working to the Brit run in. So Thunder Rosa had to look a little bit weaker, and it wasn't her responsibility to carry the match. And if it was going to be any bigger than it was Serena's job. She holds the belt. She's the champ. She's a trainer. She knows what's going on, but her in-ring psychology isn't on the same level as Thunder Rosa's. It's just not. And if you look back at the match on Dynamite, Mel's working in the rest holds. She's setting up the big spots the right way. Right. They're dramatic. It all makes sense. The in-ring storytelling that she had on Dynamite was next level. It was WrestleMania level shit.
By all means, it shouldn't be like that because she's been in the business way less time, yet she's the ring general with the psychology. Yeah.
And I feel that like Brit has been better since she came back from her injury. But just this brief involvement with Mel, like to me, took her in-ring intensity, how seriously you take her in-ring. It took her to a whole new level for me. I also I feel that this is where Brit is going to get better because there's no one in AEW that's going to make her better.
There's a lot of people that'll make her worse, and this is the feud she needs to be in absolutely.
And she also needs somebody with a specific body type as well for her style to get over. Like she can't be wrestling Swole forever because the body types just don't match up in ring very well. Like Swole is not slender enough for Brit to get her moveset in. Brit's too tall. She matches up. Mel's not tall, but she matches up a little bit better, and she's a little more slender. They can power each other around a little bit. And for me, it's the little things that really do matter that take you to the next level. And if you look at what Thunder Rosa did this week, she's working in the rest holds in that first match on Dark, where, when she gets put in a choke, she's not just sitting there or pretending to go out or this and the other thing. You can see her hands trying to maneuver to try to work out of the position or to try to roll into something else, but then she stays in it. It's like she's actually working during those holds. And then even just the total, break apart with her and Brit at the end, she did that like the top guys do it. She waits, she gets pushed back, she lets them have their way with her, and then she, the second the refs aren't paying attention, she runs at him again, even though that part wasn't scripted. You could tell. And she's doing it the right way. She's playing it to the camera. She's waiting for the camera to come on to her. Yeah. Is the other thing. Like, hello, half of AEW doesn't know how to do that. She's working the hard cam and she's waiting for the shoulder cam to come around to her before she does her thing. She does her reaction. She does her shouting at the camera or the opponent, and she waits. She held back, waited for the camera to turn to her, sees the red light, does what she's supposed to do. That is how you do it if you want to get over. Like, why is this so complicated for so many people? I don't understand.
It's funny because the guys in charge, they talked about how it's cool to have someone like Dustin Rhodes or someone like Mox come onto the show, or Jericho. Like the Bucks and Kenny and so many others, they weren't used to working for live TV. They weren't used to working for cameras and having to hit spots on purpose. Whereas like if you work New Japan, if you work like Ring of Honor, all these other things, if you're doing indies, you don't have to worry about it at all. It's a whole nother game. But usually they'll find you, or it's an athletic contest and you get what you get on camera. New Japan does do some very deliberate, cool looking shots, but it's not like AEW. It's not like WWE.
It's not. And you can tell. And I liked Kenny's promo this week where he basically just didn't do a promo and basically declined to do a promo. I thought that fit his character perfectly. And it actually worked. He was just kind of like, yeah, no, guy's a chicken shit. He should show up. Here's my signature. Like, and he wasn't working the cameras very well. I think that works great for him. Like, he should be the guy that isn't trying, that is arrogant as a wrestler and as an athlete, and that he isn't trying to cut fire promos on people to get over. Like, he comes out, says his shit, styles his hair a little bit, does some hair flips, and then kind of is like, yeah, come at me, bro. And that's it. And that's all you need to get from him because it works. It makes him look like an arrogant prick, and it's flawless, and his promos aren't very good anyway. I remember when they launched AEW and they all came to the ring and it was like, Kenny's our guy. He's the biggest name in wrestling. We're going to hand him the stick and let him do the talking. I was like, oh, Lord. It was like he was trying to do something heartfelt, and it just failed because he's a wrestling geek. He's a nerd. Let him be that. Like, he's not going to be the cool guy. He's not Hulk Hogan. He's not.
That's where Cody has really filled that role of.
I just want to point out, Justin Harvey thinks Hulk Hogan is a cool guy.
I think that he was seen as a cool guy, and he could cut a promo back in the day.
He played bass for the.
How horrible, by the way, in the AEW Unrivaled Figure Series 2, how horrible is Kenny's hair? It looks like a bird took a shit on it on his head.
That's Series 1, Byron. That's Series 1.
No, I have Series 1.
There's always room for improvement.
Dark hair and a splotch of blonde, right?
No, he's not in Series 2. It's supposed to be like an update of Series 1. There's like a Series 1 fix that's UK exclusive. We can get into it. We'll be here all day, Byron. We'll be here all day. Just say that I'm right.
I will say that you're right because it's true 90% of the time.
Any listeners who has a hookup for Series 2, let me know. Send a message.
Yeah, because you would think we would have the hookup for those boss fight figures, but no.
No. Well, we might. Anyway, I don't have anything to say
for them. I already paid for them, and so did Byron, and so did Meef.
I literally have nothing to say about WWE this week. Raw and SmackDown are go-home shows. I already said what I wanted to say about Roman. NXT was whatever. It was a show. Yeah. I watched it. It was fine. Nothing really going on there. I think that AEW was where it was at this week.
I have some about NXT. Well, first of all, in general, I'm always happy, and I mentioned this about Cheetah. I'm always happy when a wrestler goes from I'm happy to be here to, even if they're face or heel, I'm a competitor. I'm here to win. And I'm a fucking badass, so don't step to me. When they get that edge, and like Shido's beginning to get it. Leon Ruff, I loved how he brought it on NXT. He was a happy to be here guy who just got out of the hospital from his match with Cross to win the North American Championship. Yeah, and then and it's another angle designed to bring a personality out of Punishment Martinez or whoever, and he was doing an okay job of it. And then, Regal pops in. It's like, you're laughing at the guy. And Leon Ruff shows up and he's like, you're laughing at me. And he slaps the shit out of his face and says, I'm not a joke, and walks off. It's like, fuck, another guy just showed more personality on screen than Damian Priest to his face.
I don't disagree. Leon Ruff played it exactly the right way. And the whole storyline of, oh, you guys think I'm just the joke, I'm the bitch, and I'll take on both of them in a 3-way. That's a great way to do it. I mean, it probably means his title run is short-lived, but
he's getting short.
It's good writing. It's good writing. And they have good writers over there.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not hating on anything that's going on in WWE. It was just a little bit of a slower week because it's a go-home week, and they were going hard charging for 3 or 4 way. Actually, ever since the draft, they've been hard charging, but and this is where they're gonna the misstep with Survivor Series, and hopefully whatever the NXT takeover thing is. What is the next one? War Games. Hopefully War Games will salvage them and bring them back after this dreadful
that's probably like on right now as we're recording. I think I don't remember. No. Jim's the only one.
No, it's next week. It's next week.
Shit. Okay, good.
Anyway, that's all we have time for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you to Comatose especially for taking an interest in Casey and Byron. Their egos really needed it. They needed a boost because obviously the show is 100% me and Meatloaf every week. So nice to let the other guys get the rub every now and then because, they need it.
I've won too many contests.
Yeah, really. Look at him. That's amazing.
Your catchphrase.
Yeah, he's completely phoning it in, taking a shit while recording the show, and he's
taking a shit a few weeks ago. Me, hit your catchphrase.
Some guys have it like that.
Taco cat is taco cat.
Yeah,
that's amazing.
Taco cat spells taco cat backwards.
It's fucking amazing. You are a true heel in every sense of the word, Meatloaf. A true heel. So that's it. That's all I'm going to say. So until next time, stay calm and stay in the mix.
Penis. See, I told you it was stay calm and stay in the mix, Byron, you fuck.